Right now, I'm changing shirts.
Okay, so I hope the audience heard that. All right. Hey, guys, welcome back to the Open Chest Anime Podcast with your host, the Anime Collector. Currently, having trouble connecting. Please check your internet connection. Okay, well, it says we're live. Just give me a second here. I'm doing that thing where I open up. Boy, you're loud. I'm doing that thing where I open up all the tabs before the podcast so that I can't even mute you. There we go. So that it's already like ready, but it actually stopped me from being able to postpone the podcast because the internet bandwidth is being used up so much. And when I tried to go live, it like took a minute and a half to even start. So anyway, Augie is changing his clothes, so I won't be diverting the camera over to him. There he is.
Oh, don't divert the camera over to me. Ooh, damn it, I can never get this window out of the way. So how, aside from bad internet connection, how has your week been, AC?
Filled with overtime and not much else. Oh, and also my wife scheduled my kids a doctor's appointment at 9:30 or 9:50. So I got home from work at 3:30 a.m. and then went to bed, got up at 8 and went to the doctor. And then when I went to the doctor, they wouldn't let me into the room. Only one parent allowed because of coronavirus. So I sat like an idiot and watched Stuart Little 2 in the waiting room.
How's that one?
On less than 4 hours of sleep. The effects are pretty good, but you can tell with the bird character that that the wings, the feathers are just textures on a low poly model, the way that they fold over. But they hold up pretty good, actually.
Okay.
The animation is clearly hand animated, though. That's something that really stands out versus mocap, I think. Anyway, so it looks like things have settled down with the. It still says having trouble connection. I hope that goes away. Anybody in the audience? Nobody's in the audience. 2 people in the audience. That's weird. As soon as I said that, 2 people jumped in. Or maybe my internet's just terrible. Also, last podcast cut off the beginning for some reason, so I expect that to happen again. The Facebook version has it. I don't know why it's not on the YouTube version, but I think we've run into this a couple times in the past, so I need to remember to back up both versions of the podcast in case I ever need to re-upload them all somewhere. I can at least salvage the parts that are missing from one stream or the other. Anyway, so before we get into things, I'm going to go ahead and screen share and remind you if you guys want to help support the podcast. Hey, we do have people in the audience. That's great to see. There is the Open Chest Anime Podcast Patreon. How many times do I have to accept that you use cookies? So you guys can support the podcast this way. You can also support the channel through the Anime Collector Patreon, which I greatly appreciate. Yes, I know, cookies. And then, of course, there's also Stealth Weeb, which doesn't have any new designs, but I do have some stuff in the works. But as you know, I have been doing overtime forever, for over a month and a half now, I think, like 62 hours a week at minimum. So that's been fun. Also, for the last 5 weeks straight, I got the text message that alerted me that overtime was available every single day, every single Wednesday at 4:45 p.m. exactly for 5 straight weeks. I didn't get that text message yesterday, but I still was able to pick up overtime. So I don't know what that means. I was really hoping that overtime was over this week, but apparently not. But there is a decent possibility that come Monday, I'll get a text message that says that I've been unscheduled, which I would welcome because I desperately need some time off. And in fact, regardless of whether or not I have overtime next week, I might take next week off on the podcast just to breathe a little bit because it's tearing me apart to do this this long with this many hours constantly and not having any time to just decompress. My feet are absolutely killing me because I'm walking for 12 hours a day. And then I stand at the standing desk for the podcast for my only day off. Anyway, so Flip Otaku says, hey guys, thank you, Ogasawara, for everything. And Danny says, Flip, check your messenger. Who's Ogasawara? Is that the person who died recently?
Oh, you're welcome, Flip. He's talking about me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a death that we got to address on the podcast. I don't know where FDM and RHYS are. I told them that we would be doing this at 12, 18 hours ago, I feel like.
I know them. They're probably asleep. Or taking care of stuff.
I don't think RHYS is asleep, but FDM probably is. All right. I think it's funny that your autocorrect took Augie and made it Ogasawara. Is that a character from like Sentai? Like a Sentai series that you type all the time?
It might be a place in Japan or a popular last name like Nebashin.
No, because Japanese names they always autocorrect to something else when I'm typing them. Anyway, so we've got stuff to cover. So first and foremost, tangentially related Vic Mignogna court case stuff that I cringe and roll my eyes at. Apparently, San Japan leader calls himself an idiot after tweeting why he doesn't book the, quote, people of color industry, which I think people are really overreacting on. Let me see if here's his tweet. We got tagged asking why we don't bring out people of color industry. I'll tell you why. We get tagged and constantly requested to book sexual predators and popular asshole divas. That's what people want to throw their money at. Show up by the hundreds with cash to see people of color, then I'll book them. So, I mean, I get where he's coming from. the like distress or anger or being fed up with dealing with Vic's fans or whatever, I guess. But it's not a good look. And he did it from a protected account too, which apparently somebody in his that was allowed into his account decided to share it outside. So anyway, I don't really care about his tweet or what he said or anything because people have opinions about Vic that I don't plan on policing. Also, I cringe at this one too. The Anime Matsuri, we the fans want Vic Mignogna back as a guest for 2020. First of all, I don't think Anime Matsuri is going to happen in 2020. I mean, it might. I guess because it's in Houston, the lockdown probably isn't going to hold them back. But like this is phrased in such a way like Anime Matsuri wouldn't bring Vic back in the first place, which I think is retarded because obviously they jumped on having Vic there last year because it was a huge like money-making win for them. And you guys know I have my gripes with Anime Matsuri, is specifically the CEO, John Lay.
Now,
so I don't particularly...
I did say a few podcasts prior that Anime Matsuri did announce that they're going to go ahead and have it this year.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen when it's closer, but...
Well, because of protests and riots with people without masks, I fully expect the lockdown to be extended due to real or make-believe increases in coronavirus cases. So I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, they plan on having it. It's in August, so that's still a couple months away. But still, I don't know. But regardless, it is in Houston, and Houston is a little bit less stampy down on the old, rights thing as everybody else. So perhaps you had to do a podcast while the PS5 event is happening. I mean, yes, I did because this is my only day off. Anyway, continuing here, Sookie Yuta, the animation season 2 TV anime gets delayed for a third time to October 2020. So the first season aired back in 2016 with the second season scheduled to be broadcast in 2019. But after being initially great sentence here. But after being initially postponed to April 2020, in March, it was announced that due to, quote, global issues, the Children's Playground Entertainment produced second season would premiere in July 2020. Now, the official website for Sookie Yuta, the animation, which I hate it when they always have to, label it like that, the animation, announced that the TV anime would once again be delayed to October 2020, citing, quote, restrictions due to the spread of the new coronavirus infection is the main factor behind the delay, and that the staff are working on the show practicing, quote, self-restraint in regards to production process. So there you go. I never even heard of this show until this article popped up, but there you go. There's some news on.
As you read it, it sounded like something was off in the sentence structure, but
okay. Yeah, because they said, but after initially being postponed, because people don't proofread their articles ever. They must not teach proofreading in school anymore. It's just that's got to be what it is, right? Also, case closed in general. Case closed. It literally means read your damn article before hitting publish. Case closed. The Scarlet Bullet anime film rescheduled for April 2021.
Yeah, that's not that bad delay. I mean, still, what, over 9 months?
Oh, damn it.
At least it's not canceled.
I mean, I have to hope that the connection is better, but I got to tell you, when I tell it to close the tab and it doesn't do it, so I close the tab again, and then it closes 2 tabs, and then I open the tab that just closed, but it opens 2. Where are you? What the? Or maybe this just clicked a link. What the hell?
What's it advertising?
Yeah, I guess I clicked the link. Okay, so it's 2021 or never for Tokyo, confirmed senior Olympic official. So basically, as it would suggest, if the Olympics don't happen in 2021, they have to cancel them outright, as expected. Also, Taro also says that low virus death rate is thanks to Japanese superiority. So let's hear what he had to say here. Finance minister. I also like he's got like a Pokemon badge on. Finance minister.
This mask. It's like something circular.
I know, right?
Is he part pig?
He looks like freaking Snoke in that mask. Finance Minister Taro also speaks at an upper house committee on financial affairs meeting on June 4th. Oh, that's literally just telling you where the photo came from. Okay. Oh, and here we get to hear half of that sentence again. Finance Minister Taro also is taking criticism for controversially attributing Japan's relatively lower COVID-19 mortality rate to, quote, the superiority of its people. Quote, I often got phone calls from people in other countries asking, do you guys have your own special medicine or something? Also said at an upper house finance committee meeting on June 4th. I like how the finance minister is the one fielding these calls, first of all. Quote, I told these people, between your country and our country, mindo, which is a Japanese word that means, it's a 2 separate kanji that means people and quality, like level, degree, right? Or as they put here, the level of people. So between your country and our country, the level of people is different. And that made them speechless and quiet every time, also boasted. Mindo is a word often used by politicians and others to invoke Japanese nationalism and ethnic superiority and can refer to things like culture and social manners. Quote, I don't get such phone calls lately, which means what I said has been somewhat well established, I guess. Also said, no wonder they were speechless. Oso's remarks instantly drew condemnation from opposition lawmakers for being tone deaf and promoting national chauvinism. Could you be any more condescending, Minister Oso? Renho, a vice chair of the Constitutional Democratic Party of Japan and an upper house member, tweeted in reply to the comments. You know, I gotta say, I detest that so many articles are written literally just to tell you the response of some person on Twitter to something. For some
reason, they really like to talk about the netizens.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, okay. So the thing about Twitter and like the social media in general, and why it's like such a big issue is that we, especially in the United States, have the First Amendment, which is the right to free expression, basically. right? Or basically, it's not that it gives us the right, it's that it acknowledges the right of free expression, and that it is specifically inhibiting the government from preventing you from peaceably assembling, petitioning your government, freedom of religion, right? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So the idea when that was put into place is that you can't, no matter how awful somebody has to say is, you can't stop them from going to the public square and shouting it as loud as they want, right? In a public space, they're free to say anything as long as it's not inciting violence, like deliberate calls for lynching and all that kind of stuff, right? But in the internet age, and this is where the problem is, the public square is social media. But in the internet age, all of that stuff is owned by private entities versus public land or whatever, publicly available places to speak, right? Like you would if you were to go to a public park to give a protest or something, right? That you can't say those things as freely on the internet because the internet, like the owners of the website or whatever, they choose to ban your type of speech, right? And the argument is that they can because they're a private entity, but the problem is that it is essentially the same thing as stopping you from speaking on the street corner, because in the digital age, social media is the street corner, right? So it's a complicated issue that requires like a lot more thought than has currently been put into it by legislators and whatnot, in terms of maximizing individual liberty on that. But yeah, so they're always interested in what the netizens have to say, because the netizens are literally just people who are speaking on the public forum that is the internet versus on the street corner, which only reaches people in the vicinity of the street corner, versus on the internet, which potentially reaches the entire world, right? Anyway, to address your comment there. So, quote, you could have been sympathetic to people who lost their loved ones to the coronavirus, regardless of their nationalities. Instead, you threw down such a view in the diet, she continued. I'm curious, is it an election year in Japan? It is, isn't it? Didn't we read about that? Like, I wonder if this
I wouldn't have been here if it was.
I wonder if this is like a gauntlet throwdown for an election year. Tara also wanting to get reelected as finance minister, if that even is an elected position. Anyway, I hate to see it being disseminated to the world as remarks by the Japanese finance minister, Renho wrote. CDP upper house member Maiko Tajima also took a swipe at the minister on Twitter over his remarks. It's an embarrassment to the world, she said. I beg you to shut up and say no more, Tajima told Aso in the tweet. Kazuo Shi, chairman of the Japanese Communist Party, said he was aghast at the timing of Aso's oblivious remarks. There is a raging wave of people all around the world calling for unity and solidarity now, instead of discrimination and divisiveness, she tweeted. I'm not misgendering that person. Yet also made such remarks without reservation, she said. No wonder everybody became speechless and quiet. So in response to his own team, also made the remarks while responding to a quasi-question from Kenji Nakanishi, an upper house member of the ruling Liberal Democratic Party, who belongs to a political faction led by Aso. Nakanishi emphasized that the Abe administration did not take a shotgun approach to contain the coronavirus without extreme measures, such as imposing citywide lockdowns as other countries have. Quote, Japan is one of the handful of advanced nations that values freedom to the maximum degree possible. It is such a rarity in Asia where not enough such nations remain anymore, Nakanishi stated. He noted that the Japanese government did not brandish punitive measures and asked its citizens to exercise self-restraint to minimize the risk of spreading the virus. quote, "The fact that Japan has maintained the value of freedom should receive extremely high praise, right?" Also responded, "You say freedom, but it's just that we couldn't do that due to constitutional limits." You say freedom, but the truth is we're a bunch of authoritarians who would have locked that shit down so fast if we could. To quote Henry Kissinger, "The illegal we do immediately, the unconstitutional takes a little longer." It just worked out that way. I don't know if the administration responded to the virus with such insights. It turned out that was the maximum, I think. Even then, it worked effectively, and that's the good thing. So first of all, I don't think Japan does actually value freedom the way that they're kind of talking. In Japan, they have this thing. They have it's almost like a yin yang sort of concept called giri and ninjo, and it refers to loyalty, or not loyalty. I guess you could call it expectations of society and expectations of self, or like how do I phrase this? Let me pull it up real quick. Give me a second.
Now, the next election year apparently is on October 22nd, 2001, I think.
I'm sorry, what? 2001?
2001.
2001? You mean 2021?
2021.
Okay. I was going to say, that next year, they're going to be waiting for that for a long time. Okay, so let me put up here, because I don't know the proper way to phrase this. So I'm going to pull up the Wikipedia for it. Okay, so Nijo, human emotion or compassion in Japanese is human feeling that complements and opposes the value of giri, or social obligation. So that's a better way of putting it. So giri is social obligation, and Nijo is self-obligation or personal obligation. So they have this, like, part of what it means to be Japanese is to have this constantly warring concept of where your societal duties lie and where your personal independence lies, right? They have sayings in Japan like, "The nail that sticks up gets hammered down." So they're always stamping out individuality, looking different, being different, acting different. And the only way you can actually get away with that in Japan, for the most part, is to be a pop star, right? Because that's the only way to be over the top without being condemned for it. You know what I mean? So I think that's why a lot of creative types in Japan, or a lot of really individualistic people, end up being creative types, right? Because that's largely the only way to do it and societally be accepted. But regarding what they're talking about with the freedom, I think actually what it is that because of the giri, meaning the bowing versus shaking hands, wearing a mask already, due to, like, being accustomed to doing that because you have a cold, right? That these are probably the things that largely stopped the spread in Japan. So in a lot of ways, Aso is right when he says that the Mindo is different, in the sense that if Mindo, as they say, refers to, where did they put it? Mindo is to evoke Japanese nationalism and ethnic spirit, can refer to things like culture and social manners. So in regards to that, he's absolutely right, because if in Japan you're already used to wearing a mask to prevent others from getting sick when you think you might be sick, or in going into areas where you think people will be sick, like a hospital, you wear a mask to protect yourself and all that kind of stuff. Also bowing and stuff. If you consider that compared to Italy, which got raped by the coronavirus, where their cultural customs are to hug and kiss each other on the cheek when they meet, and all that kind of stuff, that it's significantly more likely that the coronavirus would expand in some areas versus Japan, right? So I think actually he's not wrong there. But obviously the optics are bad, especially when you're a politician, to say something like this. So anyway, Well, I honestly can't believe that there's still no FDM or RHYS joining us. I'm trying to stall as hard as I can. But I guess we're just going to do a podcast like the old days for now.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, okay, so here we go. Here's the response. So also made the remarks, blah, blah, political fashion by also. Nakanishi emphasized that the Abe administration did not take a shotgun approach. We talked about that. That remains freedom. He noted the Japanese government did not wait. We talked about this is the part about the Constitution stuff. Okay, it says, I don't know if the administration responded to the virus with such insights. It turned out that was the maximum, I think. Even then, it worked effectively, and that's the good thing. Then he brought up COVID-19 mortality rates. In things like this, a mortality rate is what matters most, he said, also compared the per capita rate of Japan with those of the United States, Great Britain, and France. In Japan, the fatality rate is 7 in 1 million in proportion to the total population. He then told his phone call anecdote asserting, that's a weird way to say that. He then told his phone call, so he told the anecdote, I get what they mean, asserting the superiority of Japanese people. So the other thing that's worth noting here is that we don't know how Japan is calculating the mortality, because in America, as Elon Musk put it, if you step off a curb and get hit by a bus and die, and then they test you and they find out that you had coronavirus, they list it as a coronavirus death, right? The numbers are kind of way inflated in a lot of Western countries because of our health system, where, for instance, they had all that corruption where if you had a patient of COVID-19 in an old folks home, you got $10,000 a month every month. Right? So it's $120,000 a year. And if you have that patient there and they infect somebody else, you just doubled your monthly, stipend or whatever. So there's a lot of reasons to inflate the numbers over here. So I think that the claim that Japan is actually suffering a lower mortality rate might be kind of dubious because, well, actually, maybe not, because on the one hand, yes, they probably aren't inflating it as high. But on the other hand, because of the incentive to inflate it over here, we're probably actually increasing the mortality rate due to things like I just described of the old folks home, bringing COVID-19 patients into an old folks home, infecting the entire place. And of course, the people with the highest comorbidity issues are the elderly, so you probably are inflating that over there. I don't know. Anyway, it's fucked all the way around. All right, so he told us, okay, so Osso doubles down. Reporters asked Osso to respond to the criticisms of his remarks during a news conference on June 5th. Osso reiterated that the state of emergency issued by the government did not carry penalties for noncompliance. Then he doubled down on his comments. We have kept the fatality rate very low, and it was done just by asking people to minimize their infection risk. People in other countries can't do that, even being forced, he said. I guess everybody in Japan just took it and sweated it out. There were no fines, no violations, he said. I believe the Japanese should be more proud about that. So again, this goes back to Giri. This goes back to the concept of the Japanese. They have almost a hive mind, like those alien creatures in Toy Story, the Unimind, right? In the sense that when it comes, say what?
I thought they were called the Zealots. I get you're trying.
The alien?
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's irrelevant to the point I'm trying to make. But they have this ability to come together for projects and stuff and work as a team to a unified goal that a lot of other countries don't have. Now, to be fair, a lot of Asian countries do have that ability, especially China, which is why my mom went to the Olympics when it was in China. And she came back telling me how scary it was to see their opening act or whatever for the Olympics, because it was like a huge choreographed endeavor, kind of like synchronized swimming, where everybody's moving in the exact same way at the exact same time, kind of thing. And every person in that thing was a member of the Chinese military. And my mom was like, it's disturbing to see how much control they have over their people and their military, that they can get them to perform something so precisely that if they were ever to actually engage in a hot war, imagine what that force would be like fighting. And it's kind of similar with the Japanese in the sense of the kamikaze and the willingness in Imperial Japan. I don't think that this is so much anymore, but the willingness in Imperial Japan to literally end your life to take out, for instance, like a guard tower or something. You know what I mean? Anyway. It's an interesting concept. I've been reading that book, 100 Years of Japanese Film, and I just got to the part where they talk about the American occupation of Japan. And it's really interesting. There's a quote by Akira Kurosawa that's really interesting, where he talks about how, as a filmmaker in Japan, things were infinitely better under occupation from the Americans because nobody in the occupation treated you as a criminal for being a director. There were still censorship and whatnot, but he basically talks about how you could be arrested for wrongthink prior to the occupation, whereas after the occupation, nobody treated you like that, even if they had to change things in your script or whatever. It's a very interesting book. Anyway, continuing.
Moving right along.
Oh, hold on. I have to address comment. That guy looks like he has a quote shaft of silicone in his mask, under that mask, in his mouth under that mask. Oh yeah.
Ooh.
No, I see what you're saying. It's like he's got like a tube. It's like a cylindrical. It's like he's talking into like a toilet paper roll or something, right? Just like shoved down his throat. That's really funny. Oh. All right. Kyoto Animation arsonist lawyer says he doesn't need to be in custody. Investigators disagree. All right. So I'm going to try to remember to not say the arsonist name, even though like I kind of don't care. But this is just something we decided to do with this case, even though you can read it on screen. But the arsonist is shown a list of victims' names at first court hearing, but start of trial is likely still far away. 2 weeks ago, the arsonist in the attack on anime studio Kyoto Animation, blah, 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 was finally placed under arrest following a lengthy delay while he recovered from burns he himself sustained as well as complications related to coronavirus infections at candidate prisons. This week, he appeared in court for the first time. On Tuesday afternoon, the arsonist, who is still bedridden, was wheeled into a Kyoto district courtroom on a stretcher. Well, that's some good optics for him, I guess. A judge asked him to state his name, which he did, the only time he spoke during the 30-minute court session. He was also shown a list of the names of the 70 Kyoto Animation employees who were inside the studio when he set it ablaze, 36 of whom died on site or in the hospital following the fire. He, who reacted with mild surprise when he recently learned how many had lost their lives as a result of his actions, looked at the paper in silence for more than a minute. The purpose of the hearing was for the court to officially state its rationale for keeping him in confinement ahead of his trial. The presiding judge said, quote, "In light of the circumstances of this case and the emotional state of the suspect, there is a chance of a third party destroying evidence or assisting the suspect in going fugitive." So I don't think he'd survive going fugitive.
I think he's still not. It sounds like he can't even move properly to do stuff or hire people to begin with.
I feel like I remember there being an article we covered about him falling in love with his physical therapist or whatever. So maybe he was. Oh, okay. So Random 11 said regarding this shaft of silicone, he said, YouTube didn't like me saying a word that rhymes with Bilbo. Gotcha.
Oh, that's just a Baggins.
Okay, so yeah, but I picture the movie The Fugitive with Harrison Ford or whoever, and I picture this like guy who they literally had to wheel into the courtroom on a stretcher. In that, I just don't think he'd survive. But I do get what they're saying about not. So I think it's actually more likely that if you let him out of police custody, someone would murder him.
Yeah. Then again, after surviving surviving that kind of arson, being more inflamed than others, except for the ones that died, and taking about nearly a full year recovery. I don't think there's going to be that much quality of life left with this person.
No, totally. I don't think so. What they're concerned about, sorry, I got ice in my mouth. What they're concerned about is him getting his trial for the justice of the victims. Now, let's be real. If he died from complications, it's not really any different from them sentencing him to death, other than that there's, I guess, some emotional benefit to being able to look a criminal in the face and say, I sentence you to death for these crimes. You know what I mean? I guess it sucks either way, but because nothing they do to him is actually going to bring back the victims.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to have a quality life regardless, because even if he gets the best outcome, he'll be imprisoned for the rest of his life, and regardless, I just don't see him making it in the next 5 years, because even if he gets life imprisonment, one of those prisoners is going to be a fan of KyoAni that kills him. I just don't see this. I think we already know the outcome, Anyway, however, the arsonist defense attorney argued that his detainment is unnecessary. More than 10 months have passed since the incident took place, and the police have already gathered the evidence. Furthermore, I do not believe he has any friends or family members who would be willing to help him escape. Okay, well, you can believe that. But there's plenty of anti-KyoAni extremists, I think, who might have an underground movement to rescue this guy for their cause as a martyr. I already read that. During the proceedings, he made no comment and was almost entirely motionless, lying prone in the stretcher and facing the ceiling with a mask covering his face and severe burns covering what skin was exposed. He remained silent and only occasionally moved his head. Ultimately, the question of whether he is a flight risk or not was rendered moot, as investigators also asked that he be detained for the purpose of expert psychiatric analysis in order to determine his mental state and degree of legal culpability. The court, I'm a little bit, I detest the way that the law works. There's this thing called the Talam Coilum rule that also goes by the name of eggshell skull, right? Which is this idea that if you elbow somebody, right, and it turns out they have bones as brittle as glass, if you just elbow them gently in the side and it breaks their arm or whatever, that you are, as I understand it, still liable for the elbowing that caused them damages, right? Even though you literally could have no possible way of knowing ahead of time that a person who looks completely normal has some life-threatening, debilitating disorder that you've never heard of, right? And yet, on the other side of the spectrum here, we've got these rules that say, well, you know what? The guy who murdered all those people, turns out he's mentally deficient and was prone to violent outbursts. And it's okay, he still murdered a bunch of people, yeah, he's going to get off because of temporary insanity, right? And all that kind of shit. I don't agree with that aspect of the law. The court granted the request for a period of 3 months, after which investigators will decide on what specific charges or lack thereof to bring against him, meaning that his trial would begin no earlier than the fall. Okay, so there's our KyoAni news, and now we've got our death. Angel Beats and Charlotte theme song arranger Ai Kamachi passes away at 48. It says here she collaborated with Jun Maeda as a member of Avant Garde Eyes, and she did She was the arranger team for the theme songs that he wrote, meaning Jun Maeda, / composed for the TV anime Clannad After Story. Also Angel Beats and Charlotte. He also works on soundtrack for Angel Beats with Maeda. So anyway, they don't say how she died. They just say she was 48. So she died. I don't know. Maybe coronavirus and Japan's keeping those numbers down. I don't know. But regardless, it's always a shame when a creative person for projects that we liked have passed away. So my condolences. I'm trying to close this tab. I don't know why it hasn't closed yet. I'm afraid that. Okay. All right. 3 days left. Got it. I think we can make it. 3 days left. 4 backers are bringing this to life. We just need that 5th one to fund the other $5,370 or $69 there.
Oh,
and apparently that close too. Okay, well, I'm not even going to reopen that tab for that joke. You shared this one, Wafu the Animated Series Season 4.
Yeah.
Is this even? This isn't like a shaming thing, right? I'm just curious. Is this even? This is a French production, right? It's not even close to Japanese anime.
I think it might be a French co-production. I remember back in 2012 that they decided to put it all on Blu-ray, and I wasn't able to get it because my card wouldn't be accepted. But season 4 is now on Kickstarter.
What I remember, yeah, it's the French. So Ankama, I believe, was the one that that made MFKZ with Studio 4C. I think that was a collaborative effort, and perhaps also Tekken Concrete. But as far as I know, Wafu wasn't actually a co-collaborator. I don't know. The reason I'm asking is because I didn't buy it, and I don't really want to support this Kickstarter for another thing that is only tangentially related to anime and is only season 4, unless I guess maybe if it came with seasons 1 through 3 as part of the thing, maybe then I would, but I'm not going to look into it right now because I don't have the time.
I haven't had time to look into it either. If it had seasons 1 through 4 as an option, I would, just so it's
just
there.
Because you might as well get it. But here's the problem though. The goal was $113,575, and they're almost at $1 million in this campaign. So what that says to me is that when I buy the seasons 1 through 4 box set or whatever they're going to have in here, they're definitely going to do a season 5 because they made a fucking $1 million off of season 4. You know, so
it's definitely funded.
Yeah, I just remember Wafu being like the big advertising sponsor of Anime Expo one year where it was freaking everywhere.
Yeah. I noticed that this property was hyped. I think it was based off of a board game, then it became a show, but I'm not real sure about that.
So Caracalla Light Novel Expo 2020 has been postponed for obvious reasons. So this expo was to bring together the big 5 of light novel publishers: MF Bunko, Kadokawa, Sneaker Bunko, Dengeki Bunko, and Famitsu Bunko, and Fantasia Bunko. That sounds like 6. Did I read that wrong? 1? Oh, Kadokawa Sneaker Bunko is 1. Okay, I read that as 2 different ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so they all have Bunko in them. Bunko probably means light novel, because I don't know why. Ko is like child. Boon is like, it does have something to do with literature. I'm not even gonna guesstimate on this. But anyway, also Baki author Keisuke Itagaki illustrates Rambo Last Blood movie poster. I mean, boy, I'm so sick of these.
He has more of a forehead than that.
I just love that it's so clearly Stallone with like the the eye eyelid right over the eye to the point where he looks like he's sleeping. He's got the little snarl and shit. It looks just like him. It's so funny, but it's so clearly the Baki style too. So continuing in our live action news, humanoid monster girl Bem gets live action spin-off film focusing on high school girl Bella.
Oh, okay.
So Yokai Ningen Bella, a live action spin-off film to the cult classic anime in the 1960s, Yokai Ningen Bem, okay, humanoid monster Bem, is set to be released in Japan on September 11th, so insensitive, 2020. As the title suggests, it focuses on one of the three protagonists, Bella, who is a high school girl in the film's story. She kind of looks white in that picture. Like, I wonder if I could ever. Oh no, maybe not. My scroll wheel decided to not work as soon as I get left, so that's great. There we go. Anyway, so she was an adult woman in the original anime. Okay, interesting. So I guess they're telling it from like a prequel perspective then for the anime. While the original's iconic tagline was "We want to be human soon," that of the film is "I never want to be human." Okay, so they're really turning it on its head. Anyway, here's the poster visual. Maybe we'll get it, maybe we won't. I'm more interested in getting the actual. I'm more interested in getting the actual anime over here personally, but we'll see. Blood Sea franchise's new live-action film Blood Club Dolls 2 hits Japanese theaters July 11th. Maybe we covered Blood Club Dolls 1. I barely remember if we did. I had this thing, maybe I'm not alone in this, but I feel like anytime I get new information in like the last like 3 years, or maybe like the last 10 years, anytime I get new information, I like marvel at the new information, and then like an hour later think, wait, I feel like I heard that before. Like, is this new information? Like, and I don't just mean with like movies and stuff, but like literally anything. Like somebody will tell me something at work, and I'll be like, it'll come in as though it's new information, and then like a half hour or so later, I think, wait a minute, I feel like they told me that before. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, so they're making this. Amazon is developing a live-action Promised Neverland series. So Fox 21 Television Studios and Amazon Studios are producing a live-action TV series for the highly traumatic Promised Neverland, though critics might find the production as a whole much more terrifying given the general overall quality of Western anime adaptations of anime tend to have. Variety was informed of this development and learned that Megan Malloy will be writing the script with Rodney Rotham directing and executive producing. Rodney Rotham was co-writer and director, I think, co-director for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Masioka will also be executive producing alongside Roy Lee and Miri Yoon of Vertigo. Masioka, an actor who has been nominated for both an Emmy and Golden Globe, he was a hero in the show Heroes, has also produced for the abysmal live-action Death Note movie, famous for its various faithful moments, and they have like a 13-second clip that is just all the screens that Light does in the scene where he meets Ryu. Other projects Masioka is working on include film adaptations of Mega Man and Attack on Titan. Taking such a fact into account, fans of Promised Neverland may now have even lower expectations. Hey, look who's here. An exact air date has not been mentioned. So, what do you think about this, Reese? Live action Promised Neverland coming from Amazon Prime.
I hope it's good. It's being in English. Assumingly it's going to be in English.
Yeah.
So hopefully they have a brick shit house to play Crone.
Okay.
The black character.
Right. So I was thinking about that because of the controversy with the Japanese one, and I was also thinking about the fact that Masioka is also working on film adaptations of Mega Man and Attack on Titan. I was thinking about like how great it will be, because when they made the live action Attack on Titan movie in Japan, they cast all Japanese actors, right? And the problem with that is that friggin' Mikasa's the last Oriental in the show, right? Like at least
basically the majority of the cast is like age
is
like
European,
seemingly
right?
German descent.
Yes, right. So I was talking to my wife and I said it would be so great to see one where they actually got a bunch of German, actors and stuff to play Bertold and Reinhard and stuff. And then I was thinking, I'm like, are there any black characters in Attack on Titan? And I had to think about it for a second, because I was thinking about the fact that they cast Lakeith Stanfield as L. And I was thinking, like, knowing them, let's be real, even if there aren't, which I don't care if they throw a couple black characters in there, but I took it to the extreme in my head, reducto ad absurdum, right? And I was thinking, like, what if they cast Ice Cube as Commander Pixis? And my wife and I was talking Ice Cube. Well, Ice Cube would actually be better because he got like the wrinkly or Mr. T.
We're talking Friday. We're talking Friday after next Ice T, right?
Yeah. No, that's Ice Cube.
Oh no, Ice Cube. God damn it, Law and Order Ice T. There you go.
Law and Order. Anyway, I was thinking, I kept saying it about in my head, and I'm thinking, my wife was saying like Snoop Dogg is Aaron. Aaron, you're a Titan. Oh shizzle.
Wow.
My wife was saying like you could also do Lil Wayne, like you're a Titan. Yeah. I would so watch that.
So what happened to Augie and FDM?
God knows.
Okay.
All right, so I've got an article here that I think everybody is so dying to hear. Edward Norton joining Alita Battle Angel 2 along with Rosa Salazar. 3 exclamation point. Release date, plot, cast, and more. From Gizmo Blaze. However, the future is unlikely for Rosa Salazar's star film after Disney acquired 20th Century Fox last year. Can't pronounce Gunmu, like it's Gunnm, right? Calls it Zelma instead of Zalem. The sequel hasn't been greenlit yet. Like, what the fuck are you guys writing this? So this is I'm a free speech absolutist, but I would absolutely support the outright banning of like
false
ludicrously fake. Yeah, false advertising is a better word. But I was gonna say fake news, but I don't like the idea of some arbiter deciding what is quote unquote fake news, because that's just as bad as the existence of fake news. But I detest satirical websites most of the time. Mostly because the only thing that's funny about them is a headline most of the time, right? The articles and whatnot. But anyway, I kind of hate them. But yeah, this is annoying. But however, regarding this, hold on. For dramatic effect, I need to have the other tab loaded. Oh, hold on.
Is my audio coming in okay?
It's a little.
You're okay.
Yeah, it's a little stuttery, but you're understandable.
For some reason, I decided to upload a 2.5 gigabyte video to YouTube this morning. It's only like 75% done.
2.5 gigabyte. I'm like, don't they cap it at like 30 gigabytes? Because I thought you said 200, which is what I usually upload. Okay. All right, so here we go. The Alita sequel billboards are up. See their inspiring messages. So, Cinema, get out of here. Can I close this? Get out of here. Jeez. Cinema Blend participates in affiliate programs with various companies. We may earn a commission when you click or make purchase via links. Well, thank you for letting me know that. I don't know why you included that at that portion of the article. So when we last left the saga of Alita Army's efforts to inspire a sequel to Alita Battle Angel, there was a campaign being mounted to rent a billboard. The purpose of that billboard was not only to promote the wishes for another chapter in director Robert Rodriguez's manga adaptation, but to also inspire folks to donate to the appropriate charities in this time of need. After a successful fundraising campaign, that billboard is officially up. And it's not only looking good, but there's more work to be done. Take a look at the photos yourself as they've hit Twitter, courtesy of the Alita Army. So, hashtag Alita Army or at Alita Army says, "We got eyes on the Alita sequel billboard in Los Angeles." So here's the billboard. I guess I'll open it up just because that's impossible to see. It says, "Hey Disney, these ads are running today on a billboard in Koreatown in downtown Los Angeles. They're saying that the Alita Army wants an Alita sequel. At Disney Studios, at 20th Century, hashtag Alita sequel, at Doc Ito." I don't know why you tagged Doc Ito. You know, if you're going to comment as me, you could at least use proper grammar and not misspell gonna.
I'm sorry. I was in a hurry.
Okay, so boy, I love Twitter's super lightning fast image loaders.
Twitter's.
All right, I'm gonna leave that there for a minute, and we'll come back to it. So, inspired by Alita Battle Angel producer John Landau's continued inspiration to push for a sequel in the potential franchise, fans of Alita's cinematic exploits have been taking it upon themselves to lead the charge to a new installment. While the campaign to finance the billboard was closed upon its successful funding, the Alita Army has opened a Go Get funding. Okay, that's an interesting. Is that a GoFundMe website? Like Go Get funding? Is this like a? That's weird. Is that like a real thing? Why wouldn't you just use GoFundMe? Hey, Lishansky's able to say all these things. They're discriminating against you, Random 11. Maybe you just need to do it with a lowercase d. No, you probably did that actually. It's fine with me saying it, LOL. All right. Oh my God, I can't get rid of it because we got so many comments coming in. Okay. All right. So it says here, I would play Alita until my last breath, quote from Rosa Salazar. Now, first of all, that is some low quality ass picture of why does she look like a Batman villain behind her? That's almost unreadable, or like that's bizarre. Anyway, so all right.
First look at that, it looks like like it's advertising for an opera rather than a movie.
So I'll tell you this much. I said in my first impressions, which you guys haven't seen yet, that Rosa Salazar is way prettier than fake CG Alita, and honestly, they should have just done what they did for what was the other guy's name? Started with a Z. Zapan. All right, they should have just done what they did with him and given her face as like put her in a green screen suit, do her hair, whatever the heck you want to do with her body or anything, but leave her face normal because she looked fine, you know? And if they had done that, they'd have had the money for the sequel. Just saying that the only reason they don't have the money to do a sequel is because it costs too much money to make her stupid, like huge-eyed doll face CGI version of her that was unnecessary, you know? So just throwing that out there. So go get funding. What is this? I'm sorry. What am I looking at here?
That's
3 days to go. Wow, they earned $2,000.
I think that's a scam.
Yeah, I think so too. Seb with a $20. I don't even know what currency that is, but thank you. I said $20. I guess I shouldn't have thrown out the dollar there. SEK. Somebody find out what that is for me. Yeah. Well, see, I thought to myself, because last podcast we didn't give you guys any.
Forewarning.
Yeah, like the podcast was just like, it's going live now. You know what I mean? because I ran out of time for articles and stuff. So this week I thought, okay,
One Swedish Corona.
Say what?
It's a
One Swedish Corona.
Okay.
So it's a one Swedish Corona to 11 cents on the dollar.
He said it's about $2, $2. Hey,
$2.
I appreciate it, even if it was 2 cents. I thank you for the support.
I'll give you 2 cents. You want my 2 cents?
I don't want your 2 cents. Anyway, so yeah, you think this is a scam? This is kind of funny because it's like, I think this is like, remember they were talking about the circumstances or whatever going on and how they're like a combined thing. So this is like, I guess, LA. She's got the 99. She's holding what I guess is dog food. Maybe popcorn. I don't know. So the fundraiser for the electronic billboard went extremely well. The response to the Alita Army and friends to the call was overwhelming. The 7-day campaign was fully funded in just 6 hours. We can't thank you enough for all your support. But unlike other fundraisers, we kept collecting for charity after. But unlike our other fundraisers, where we kept collecting for charity after the goal was reached, this fundraiser was closed on completion. Some who wanted to give to the campaign missed that small 6-hour window and felt they'd missed out. Yet, as it happens, they haven't. Funding the billboard was great, but there is always more we can do. Rather than running a billboard funding collection past its stated goal, we decided to dedicate part of the advertising on the actual billboard to charity, linking to the sequel push and the Alita Army in public, rather than within the confines of the online fundraiser only we were likely to see, blah, blah, blah. So is this or is this not about making a sequel? Because I'm sorry, if your goal for that movie is a budget of $999.99, you ain't gonna get it. Anyway, yeah, this kind of feels like a scam, but I don't know. I'm not gonna comment more on this. I want to get back to the article. So anyway, fans of Alita's cinematic exploits have been taking it upon themselves to lead the charge in the new installment. I already read this. Fundraisers to continue raising money. Part of the billboard's message is indeed raising awareness for the Alita sequel campaign, but there's another very important message. With Alita Battle Angel star Rosa Salazar taking part in the philanthropic efforts to battle the current health crisis, the Alita Army is planning to donate from this new fundraiser to the charities Feeding America and Action Against Hunger, right? Because they currently are only eating dog food, according to the photo. Of course, there's also a reminder that fans can also visit Rosa Salazar's personal Amazon wish list to purchase supplies that she'll be directly donating to those in need. Considering the history of the loyal Alita Battle Angel fans. So is this the Rosa Salazar Army or the Alita Army? They're keen-eyed for supporting a good cause as well as an entertaining one. This is just business as usual.
Right.
In this time of crisis, though, even something like the continued support of doing good by those in need can feel heroic. Just as they've kept their eye on the ball to give Alita Fallen Angel its wings, the Alita Army continues to not stand by in the presence of adversity, rather. The opportunity is out there for fans and good-natured humans alike to donate to this worthy cause, while at the same time helping to push along a sequel that Alita Battle Angel audiences are eager to get into production. That second fight might take some time, but at least it's spurring on a tide of charity that can achieve an even greater goal in the short term. Alita Battle Angel is currently available on HBO Max, blah, 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 7-day free trial. You can read the manga through Comixology. So overall, a pretty nice, uplifting article, right? It certainly pales in comparison to our previous rendezvous with the media, where the Independent called us alt-right Nazis, the cult of Alita Battle Angel, alt-right parable or neglected classic. Do you guys remember this?
Nope.
So yeah, that's been nice. AC's mic is wearing a mask? What? No. Oh, you mean
You're kind of scratchy.
Am I? Let me see
I
if
thought
I'm
it was
gonna,
just me, but
oh. Hold on. Whoops. Yeah, I wasn't connected to the right mic. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, that was my My internal computer mic. Does it sound better now?
Yeah. I thought it was just
Okay. How's it?
me,
You can hear me. All right.
I got 48 minutes left on this upload.
All right.
I can tell a difference.
All right. So Netflix's Baki anime pummels Japanese TV in July of 2020. So what this tells me is that Netflix originals can air on TV, apparently. So that's...
I think Netflix already has it online. Now it's going to air for free on TV in Japan.
Yeah, so I just think that's a little interesting. Seb said, "You sound like FDM's internet."
Well, for this, if the show grows in popularity and a station wants to view it and they pay for the license, why shouldn't it air on TV if they pay for the license to air?
Well, we'll come back to something related to this in a little bit. Actually, it might be the next article. Give it a second. Thank you. Okay.
We're all just having lunch during this.
I'm going to turn on the fan because I'm sucking down this ice because it's so hot in here, but I could just turn on the fan. Oh, you know what? Actually, so the problem with having all the tabs open like this is I forget to do pickups.
Yeah.
We were supposed to do it after...
Let's do pickups. Pickups.
We were supposed to do it after the...
Did you guys want to wait for FDM to get it?
He'll come back.
I don't think he's going to show up.
He said
He'll come back later.
Did he?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I've got a couple of things that I already showed you guys. I'm just going to show you in bulk the entirety of the collection here.
Ooh, what you got?
Come on. Come on.
Pick it up. Pick it up. Be like,
I'm missing 2 still. Damn it. Oh, that wasn't even a DVD that fell. Okay, so I picked up, I got this one on eBay because it was cheaper. This is volume 3 of Talking Silence, right? This one comes with Orochi and Gyakuryu. And hold on one second. So I'm currently only missing this has both number 10s in it because I couldn't be bothered to put it down. So I'm missing number 7 and number 8. Number 7 should be on its way. Number 8 is the one I don't know if I'm going to get. Or maybe I have that backwards. I don't know. That might be reversed. There's no way I'm going to get that to fit back in there. I'm just going to put it over there for now. Okay. So I've had some interesting things arrive. First and foremost, Sound Euphonium the movie, which we will be talking about how we got cucked with this release in a moment. Put that one there too. And then I got 2 movies by Kenji Mizoguchi, Korean releases, because apparently only Korea cares about black and white Japanese cinema.
What genre are they?
What genre?
Yeah.
Jidaigeki, I think it's called. It's contemporary Japan is the genre. Because Japan had I don't forget the names. There's Jidaigeki and Gendaigeki, I think they're called. One of them is period pieces like samurai time and feudal era and all that, and the other is contemporary. But contemporary keeps changing as the time goes on, so they've got a whole bunch of different genres now. But for the black and white stuff, that's basically all there was. Now, this one has subtitles in Korean and English. This one says language/subtitle, Japanese/Korean. Why did the camera switch to you?
I was changing tabs and I accidentally clicked on Agi.
Oh, I'm cool.
So anyway, so this one I probably won't actually be able to watch. I couldn't even tell you. Oh, Miss Oyu Sama is the movie that this one is. So that's unfortunate. And also, the geniuses at, I'm gonna shame them, Happiness or Sky Media World Movie or premierent.co.korea, the geniuses there, their graphic designer took this image and
squashed the shit out of it for the spine.
There you go. We're in library territories here.
That's pretty good.
Okay. So I also got Yasujiro Ozu, an official Criterion release of Floating Weeds and A Story of Floating Weeds, which are two movies that I've been reading about. Or actually, Story of Floating Weeds is the one I've been reading about. I don't think I read about the other one yet. But I'm interested in seeing it. I think there might exist a Blu-ray of this one, which I would very much like to own. If it does, that case has gone to hell and back. I kind of want to get a replacement, but I don't know. Then I also got, I think this one's a Blu-ray. Doesn't say anywhere. Sancho the Bailiff, which is a Mizoguchi film as well. Seriously, is this... It says Region 1, so it has to be a DVD, right? I mean, I hope it's not a VHS in here. Because a lot of these movies are available on VHS and nothing else, so that's unfortunate. Then I also picked up... okay, so I bought a bunch of the same movie in different formats because I couldn't decide which one was most likely to be legitimate, and I didn't know that all these were going to be Korean releases at the time. I need to cut this open. Hold on. Oh, yeah.
Is AC's reception kind of like a slow brushstroke when he moves now?
Kind of.
All right. So I'm skipping over the thing I was just talking about to talk about this one first because I don't remember what it is. And it was in bubble wrap, so I couldn't see it. All right.
Ooh,
okay, so these are in Tokyo. Yikes! And here's the other A Floating Story of Weeds. These are the Korean releases of it. I'm curious to see Criterion's masters versus the Korean ones because they're closer to the source. You know what I mean? But I also just kind of picked it up because it was like $1, and having the rest of a bunch from this collection was appealing. Anyway, so the two that I bought multiples of was 47 Ronin. I think this one is the 1941 version. And there's a whole bunch of different ones that look almost identical to this. In fact, the other one I bought, which has the exact same cover on it, right? Now, this one came in a, what do you call this type of case? With the little flap and the cardboard? You know what I'm talking about? Snap case or whatever. So I bought this one thinking that's the one that's most likely to be not a bootleg, right? Because why would bootleggers go to the trouble of doing this, right? Using this type of case. And I'm pretty sure it's not a bootleg because it is released by Image, right?
Okay.
But the seller chose the exact worst way to ship this to me in a freaking bubble mailer because that has gone to shit. It's all bent in and everything. So that's wonderful. But like I said before, I am planning like I'm planning a revisitation on 47 Ronin after my last Samurai review. I don't know when it's going to happen because my life is out of control right now, but we'll see. Oh, hey, here's number 7. I do have number 7. It was underneath everything else because I was supposed to talk about that first. So it is number 8 that I'm waiting on. Then I got this. This item is no longer the property of the King County Country Library System. Now look.
It's like an audio. No, that's Criterion.
That's horrendous. But inside appears to have unmolested sleeves for like if I just stuck it in a DVD, right? And it has like the actual discs in here. So these are all Criterion collections for Naruse films. So this is Apart From You and Every Night Dreams, which sucks because I'm probably gonna have to buy that again just so that I can separate them in my collection. And Street Without End. So I'm very interested in seeing these, especially after I've been reading so much about the pre and mid war like censorship and nationalistic forced nationalism in their movies and stuff, and how directors attempted to circumvent these censors and did all these things that were pretty interesting. So anyway, those are my pickups for the time being. If somebody else would like to jump in with theirs, you can do so now.
I can do it. All right. So kind of similar to him. I'm going to start with live action heavies, then finish it out. So first in live action I got is Death Kappa, good movie. Crunch into the side. Yeah, crunch into the ice. Followed by Twin Star Exorcist, the box for it, along with Volume 2 and 4. I'm still waiting for 3. Up next, I finally get Shield Hero. However, with my copy, it looks like it kind of went a little sloppy on slapping the back page on it. So that is part 1, as well as part 2 with the book. Up next, we got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, set 4, and set 5. Completing the
Nice.
what we call them talking about. Diamond is Unbreakable arc. Oh, my favorite arc out of the series so far. Oh, so I haven't finished Joe Lion yet.
Jolene.
Yeah. And I'm still missing set 3, but that's coming soon. All right, so that takes care of the heavies. Now for the lighter load, I have Fairy Tale Adventures, which has a lot of the old Toei release, like Toei fairy tale movies, like Aladdin, Huck Finn's on here, The Terrible World of Hans Christian Andersen, Dot the Kangaroo, and so much more. As you can see in the back here, it looks very. This one right here. Here's the Aladdin that was available on VHS over here, and some others as well. So it is anime, just kind of.
Who released that?
Sloppy. Let's see. We have 2 DVDs. Color or TGG Direct. There you go. It's like $5 on Amazon still.
Yeah, it's probably a one of those releases where they think, oh, it's public domain.
Yeah.
Here's a VHS rip. Like all the other releases of those have been.
Yeah. Hopefully it has a better release of Hans Christian Andersen, but that's not really worth rewatching stuff. Yeah. All right. Up next, a show I was looking forward to, but a slight problem with it. So we have A Centaur's Life. Whoa. Problem I have with it. You can slightly hear it has. Huh?
You got a flood.
Yeah. Yeah, clutter in it. So somehow in here there's some snapped up pieces, but it doesn't sound or feel like the discs are bouncing around or anything. So I think I know how to resolve that. Up next, we have In Search of the Lost Future and French words. And more French words. Sub only. Oh. And last of all, I've already seen it, but I finally got a copy of OCA, which I really enjoyed.
I did too.
Picked up my copy, but that was something we were discussing in the Patreon for doing as a watch club.
Right. For lunch, I got me some chili Southwest.
Okay.
So.
All right. Reese, you got anything, Jizzface?
I do.
The snack that smiles back.
Bum.
I got Tokyo Godfathers on Blu-ray and DVD and Mob Psycho 100 Season 2 Standard Edition.
So my Mob Psycho has not arrived, even though I pre-ordered it.
Turn that off. Yep. Delete. There we go.
Boom. Okay, so Crunchyroll adds Eureka 7, Outlaw Star, and more to UK catalog. So Eureka 7, Outlaw Star, Samurai Flamenco, which still doesn't have a release over here. Aoharu Machine Gun, which when I scrolled through this the first time, I'm like, yeah, Samurai Flamenco, Your Lie in April, Castletown Dandelion as well. Not sure why that girl is hiding the fact that she's not wearing panties. That's the only thing I can gather from her expression. Why can't the scroll wheel work? And how? Oh, we already passed it. How? Okay. Continuing, because that's all UK stuff none of our audience except for Seb probably cares about. Possibly. Oh, by the way, I wanted to address, Seb had said, I'm assuming that's Sebastian, right? I bought the entire show of Battlestar Galactica for $25. House MD full show $25. Meanwhile, Persona 3 Movie 4 also $25. Hey, you know what? I assume that's the Battlestar Galactica with Stephanie Jacobson, in which case, enjoy yourself, because she's great. And House MD, that's pretty good buy too. I've enjoyed it. It's a good show. Also,
House.
I don't know, like a lot, maybe 8.
I wonder if it's one of those, 8 or 9ers, but
Hans Christian Andersen, my Danish brother. Does Mob Psycho 2 have 4 subs? I don't think it does. I don't believe it does. Because there's a dub on it.
It does not have locked subs. I just checked them. I just checked the Blu-rays. They don't have
Yeah.
locked subtitles.
So because he's in Sweden or whatever, he's saying that he'll import if it doesn't, meaning that it probably does in the Swiss release or whatever. So the reason I know it doesn't is because it has a dub. So they're not going to lock the subs on for the dub. All right, so addressing here.
They will lock the subs when the Japanese audio is on some cases.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know
I
because
never
I
really
like
thought about that.
I like to watch. I like to watch dub with the subs on, and sometimes on certain Blu-ray releases you can't do it.
Oh yeah, Blu-ray is somehow garbage for stuff that DVD was really good at in regards to being able to toggle subtitles on and off. Like you literally can't do it with the remote. I hate it. I hate that.
I don't know why. I'm glad Blu-ray can give us more quality, but it's like one step forward, 3 steps back again.
Yeah. No, I was a little disappointed. Go ahead.
Just because we share the region with Japan, we gotta have locked subtitles on Blu-rays sometimes for reverse.
I mean, maybe,
fears.
but I've experienced it with Blu-rays that shouldn't have mattered in that regard. But anyway, so free U.S. virtual screening for Animazing Penguin Highway by Japan Information Cultural Center, Embassy of Japan. So on Saturday, June 20th to Monday, June 22nd, you can watch it through this link if you care about it. Also, apparently, Owari Monogatari Part 3 has been put up for pre-orders on Vertical Ink. So anyway, continuing here.
Yeah. Time to raise the counter as we party down with the Adventure Kit.
I found it. All right. So I'm going to address this one here. What Sub says Funimation doesn't seem to lock DVDs. We're going to watch one for the next podcast that does have a locked subtitles on the DVD, The Boy and the Beast.
Really? Okay.
All right. We'll find out. All right. So I guess the cut counter happened before. There we go.
Did you count that one time when you missed it?
you know what? There's an entire first podcast that he didn't count any. So, you're going to have to go back. If you want an accurate cut counter, somebody in our devoted audience is going to have to get on counting.
I'm sorry. I've got
So,
many things not to do.
It would be nice to have an accurate cut counter, and for anybody who's just tuning in, I accidentally closed the wrong tab, so I closed out of the stream. All right. In case you missed it, Animation X Paralympic short series is still continuing. It's now up to episode 10. So if you actually cared about this, you can watch it.
It's not a bad thing to make.
No, but I'm just saying I don't give a crap. I'm not going to sit down and watch it. There's no Blu-ray release. I don't care. I'm not going to waste my time on something that isn't eating away at the enormous collection of shit I have in my backlog. 44th Super Sentai Kira Mager gets spin-off short anime inspired by Japanese folklore. So the first one is on Momotaro, as that says in hiragana. So yeah, that's the thing. So I love that, like, they've just gotten to the point where they're literally just using toys, apparently, in the show. Like, they make the toy. This is what it looks like to me. They literally just make the toy they're going to sell in the store. And then they just use it in the show, in the production, because that looks like an absolute toy, right?
Well, it cuts production costs.
This is in the streaming news because it's YouTube premiering. TV anime Cinderella 9 to be rebroadcast in its Refine edition in July 2020. One extra episode is planned to be added as a special content. The version to be used in the rebroadcast is the collector's edition included in the Blu-rays. So this goes back to Baki being broadcast after it was originally a Netflix original. So if you bought into Netflix to stream shows that you otherwise wouldn't have gotten, or you bought the collector's edition Blu-ray to get the special Refine edition of this show, well, you've been cucked because they're showing it on TV now. So, I mean, it's just kind of bullshit.
Kind of like the same concept of pre-ordering a game than buying it later.
I don't know about.
You pre-order the game, it costs a lot. You wait a little later, it goes down in value. You wait about 10 years later, it's since
and you get it for free, pretty much. It's free on the Steam's. Yeah, I guess. I think it's a little different though, because you could say that about literally anything. Seb says Funimation doesn't seem to lock DVDs. I think you addressed that. You said that they did for Boy and the Beast, which we'll find out. Kimagure Orange Road has the funniest zero fucks given Swedish dub. That sounds hilarious. I wish I spoke Swedish. Is there a dub for Kimagure Orange Road in the U.S.?
No.
I don't think there is, right?
Only that one movie.
The movie? The ADV one?
The very last one, yeah.
Right. New Kimagure Orange Road. All right, so Augie, you shared this, and I'm not sure why. I think you said that the bottom.
The officers who got it is at the bottom.
Yeah, but this doesn't say anything. Like,
it says who they are. That's about it.
It says the names of the people. It says Digital Media Rights is a privately held digital media and advertising company founded nearly a decade ago by industry veterans Michael Hong and David Chu. Is that literally all you wanted to?
We can read more, but that's pretty much the gist.
Well, I mean, who are those guys? Like, that doesn't tell me anything. Pioneers in digital entertainment content distribution, DMR is transforming the industry while specializing in three distinct areas: digital distribution, OTT, and social media networks, and the DMR advertising marketplace. That's all it tells me. Like, there's nothing about that means anything. They could put literally any name to it. They could make up names. John Doe and Sweeney Todd, and I wouldn't make any difference.
I remember us asking who got it, so that's who got it. Mongolia Nights Anime enters a new dimension on Crunchyroll today, which was 2 days ago.
Okay, so regarding this, Justin Savakis tweeted, so as some people found, at Discotheque Media has Moncoli Knights. Only problem, the Fox Kids dub masters can't be found anywhere. Recutting from Japanese masters is not possible either. We are officially asking for community help in finding them. So I don't know who in the community would have access to these. Okay. Now you had talked about in his thread, he also said, we suspect there might be masters in the Disney Vault, but that is an impenetrable fortress for us. Any help would be invaluable. We're also still looking for season 3 of Metabots. Most adapted kids dubs from the late 90s on used an automated method to shorten each episode by trimming a couple of frames off every cut. Recutting good masters to match that would take literally months of work. Plus, we'd have to recreate any new graphics. Financially impossible. So first of all, I don't understand why you'd have to recreate new graphics. What does that even mean? If you have the masters for the Japanese one and you manage to get the English audio, recutting that, yeah, it might take a while, but that shouldn't be undoable, you know?
Sometimes with shows like you experienced this with Gridman. They would have like a Japanese emblem of the show, but the Americans did, or what we would do is create an English version of it and swap it in. Sometimes it might be 3D, it might just be a simple put the logo on and push.
Yeah, but I don't see how that would even be an issue because you don't have to use that. Literally, if you had to, you could just use the old one. Otherwise, there probably aren't that many. Because the thing is that what I would say, recreate any new graphics would be like in Dragon Ball. There's a scene in the original Dragon Ball where Yamcha's fighting the Invisible Man, which was clearly only an excuse for some TNA from Toriyama, where Krillin yanks down Bulma's tube top in front of Master Roshi. Blood squirts out of his nose and hits the Invisible Man, and then Yamcha can see him and he beats him. But in the American release, for some reason, Krillin brings Bulma over to Master Roshi for the censored one, and then Master Roshi opens up a can of tomato sauce, which shoots out the top. So I imagine that's the recreate any new graphics. Like, that's the heaviest recreation of graphics ever that I can imagine that they'd have to deal with. And even still, like, literally all you would have to do is just, like, use what you have of that, right? Like, if you had, like a taped version off of TV, recreating that graphic would literally just be photoshopping out the watermark and then maybe sharpening it up a little bit and letting it just be inferior quality. You know, I guess like that's a huge if there even is stuff like that in the original show, which I don't know that there is. So I think what's up?
Bring that up later on. It mentions that he wants to only work with direct masters only, no TV rips, etc., etc.
Okay, so that's okay. You misinterpreted what he meant there, and I'm going to explain that in a second. So he said, seriously though, if you're in a position to help us find any broadcast masters of either Moncol Knights or Metabot Season 3 dubs, please DM, right? And he said, I said broadcast masters, guys, not bootlegs, not torrents, broadcast masters. What he's saying is that he needs the masters for the dubs versus the broadcast masters or the broadcast torrents, because the broadcast torrents are recorded off of TV and have the little advertisements for other shows in the corner and the kids WB watermark or whatever, so he can't put that on a disc because that disc is it would look like cheesy as all hell to have something like that on their disc, like something it would be like releasing Naruto, but the source for your master was the 3-minute installments of it that were uploaded to YouTube in 2007, like all part 1, part 2, part 3, those are your chapter skips, anyway. So yeah, so I think that what they're talking about is that if there are new graphics, right, that they can't use the the taped off TV transferred to digital version because it's going to be too low quality, you know? So he's asking for the actual masters in this case, because you want to shoot for the highest standard versus the, well, this will work. You know, you got to at least shoot for the high standard first, right? But like I said, I can't imagine, because most of the time when they do have to have new graphics, the new graphics are literally, we took this Japanese text and used Comic Sans font to change it to English. You know what I mean? And like, just leave it as Japanese text because it wasn't important in the first place, you know? Anyway, so I don't know, but hopefully they can do something, you know? And he says here, some episodes got released, but only the first dozen or so. None of the distributors will help us.
Right.
So you could at least get a few of them. And because what they did with
Galaxy Express.
No, hold on. It's coming to me. Violence Jack. What they do with Violence Jack is they used a mosaic censored scene for the release. They had an uncut version that was shit quality from a Chinese VHS that they put on in the bonus features. Right? So at least it was in there. You know what I mean? They did their best with the release, which is all there you could ask for them, you know, because their best is above and beyond what other people do. Anyway, let me address some. I love this. So regarding the Zero Fucks Given Swedish dub of Kim Gort Orange Road, they changed all the names. The main character's name is Kerr Carlson. I like that. Kaiser Trigger says, wow, Moncali Nights was weird. I remember watching it as a kid. Metabots was pretty nice.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are too lazy. The OG Gridman was great. Agree. Bust your nut on some quality assets, not on some cheapo washboard, basically. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. All right. Okay, so continuing here. Lupin the First receives Annecy, or this is a French word. I'm going to call it Annecy. I forget how you pronounce it. Film festival nomination. So it's been nominated for a film festival, right? American fans will get. Damn it. Apparently, I searched the headline just now by accident. That was weird. Okay, let me close that. That was really weird. Okay, American fans will get to see Lupin the First in theaters via a license from G-Kids. The limited screenings, which will be scheduled on, at a later date, will include both subtitled airing and an English language dub. Now, continuing from here.
I'm excited. I am really excited.
Oh, me too.
I am too. Studio Ghibli's Earwig and the Witch listed in Cannes Film Festival's official selection 2020. So I want to point out here, the Japanese name for this is not Earwig and the Witch. It's Aya and the Witch. The running time of Aya to Majo is confirmed as 82 minutes, so that's some new news here. While the actual festival, which was originally scheduled to run from May 12th to 23rd, was canceled due to COVID-19, the 56 selected films will be available to be screened with an official Cannes 2020 label during their theatrical run and at other film festivals. So, now, this is something you're going to want to take note of, Reese. UK Anime Network said Jordan Scott has rounded up all the Japanese films available to stream through online film festivals. Check out the details here. So first of all these movies I just bought for that book I'm reading, Japan 2020, over 100 years of Japanese cinema.
Are you calling these people hipsters?
No, pretty much all of the films by Yasujiro Ozu that I just bought, Akira Kurosawa, right? All these freaking movies I've been reading about are like available. So Kurosawa, Yasujiro Ozu, and then apparently no Mizoguchi. Shame. All right. Anyway, so there's that. But continuing here, curiously, I found something else you might find interesting. Not everything is accessible in the UK. See the regional restrictions. But those that are include a program of shorts from female independent animators Makiko Tsukihara, Sookie Kara, rather, Yoko Yuki, Lisa Fukaya, and Serena Nihei, and 2 live-action features adapted from manga, Little Miss Period. That's the Seri-chan from the manga published in English as Little Miss P by Ken Koyama, and A Life Turned Upside Down, My Dad's an Alcoholic from the manga by Mariko Kikuchi. And then here we've got the Annecy International Animation Film Festival. A one-off payment of, what is this, 15 euros? About 13.40 pounds. For a pass allows one to see everything in the online edition of the world's longest running and biggest animation festival during the 15th to the 30th of June. That's coming up. Only 2 Japanese productions can be seen in full. The short, The Balloon Catcher by Isaku Kaneko, and the feature True North by Eiji Shimizu. But there are also 2 other shorts by directors of Japanese background. Beyond No, co-directed by Kaori Ishida, and Just a Guy, directed by Shoko Hara. 10-minute plus extracts of 7 Days War, Loop on the Third, the First, and Ongaku, Our Sound, and work-in-progress presentations of Masaki Yuasa's Inu O and Patrick Imbert's The Summit of the Gods. So you can watch 10-minute plus extracts of Loop on the Third, the First on the 15th to the 30th of June, if you're interested. Which is way less awesome than I thought it was going to be reading that, because I threw this in at the last second. So unfortunately, we aren't going to get to watch the whole thing, but that's okay because I want to watch it dubbed anyway.
What do you think of those screens? What do you think of those screens I sent you a couple days ago?
About the revitalization of the Third Reich or whatever.
Yeah, and then Happy Hitler.
I forget we talked about this previously. I mean, I'm game. I'm game for whatever they throw at me in that. So Kaiser Trigger says, "Don't accidentally click on some porn now, bro," which is why I hide the ads on Sankaku Complex. Japan's been in the game a long time now. Favorites have always been Godzilla movies that I watched as a kid, good old Showa era, Heisei, and the not so old Millennium. I wonder why. Oh, is that just the? Oh, that's just the. I was gonna say, I wonder why there's like extra text showing up, but that's not. It's just the highlight. Okay, good. It's like I thought there was extra text from your comment showing up at the bottom, but no. All right. Anyway, also loved watching some more obscure movies that I'd find here and there. Hentai Kamen is my other kin identity. Hentai Kamen is the one of the guy who wears the panties like all the like on his face, right? Is that Hentai Kamen? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's Mel doing that, not the female.
Yeah, that's Keko Kamen. Anyway, Akira anime film producer corrects 30-year fact on how much the groundbreaking film cost to make. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. Proof. Read your fucking articles. So we're talking right now. We're making an article for Crunchyroll, right? It's about how there's a incorrect fact on how much the groundbreaking film cost to make. No, Akira didn't cost 1.1 billion yen to produce, says executive producer Shigeru Watanabe. Let me just read this part to you. This is one. Is this one run-on sentence here? 1988 anime film classic Akira has just returned to the Japanese theaters for a 4K re-release of the film this week, putting the influential masterpiece back into the forefront of minds all across Japan, which is great, you know, to release it in 2020, including producer Shigeru Watanabe, who worked on the film back during its production. First of all, great job on that sentence. But instead of reminiscing working with creator Katsuhiro Otomo, Watanabe said to correct the record on the long-standing belief that Akira cost 1.1 billion yen to make, and was confused why Google and Wikipedia were citing this incorrect figure. The 1.1 million yen figure has been cited multiple times over the last 32 years since Akira was released. So great job, Crunchyroll. Seriously? when I search how much did Akira cost to make, and Google's like algorithm searches for the correct term and finds the article correcting the record and uses the first different term from the original record, that's great job. Great job giving me the wrong number here. So no, the answer is actually like something like 600 million yen. The original budget was 500 million yen, but it ended up costing 700 million yen. And they're saying this could have been where the extra 100 million yen rumor started from all those years ago, except that that's a 200 million yen difference. So great job. Anyway, so disappointed in Crunchyroll's Daryl Harding inability to proofread anything. But yeah, apparently it didn't cost 1.1 billion yen. Also, Uzumaki Anime brings Junji Ito's wild anime to life with storyboard samples. So I guess what they're saying is that the storyboard that they're using, so this says Adult Swim here. Is this like actually what it's going to look like? Is it going to be like
funded it, I believe.
I know. But is this from like a screen cap from a release on Adult Swim? Are they going to do it in black and white in this style? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. Because they're using what it appears to be actual panels from the manga as the storyboard, right? But I think that the previous anime of Junji Ito's work failed heavily due to the fact that it was in color and it lost a lot of the line work and detail that his work shines so well under.
Which one are we comparing? Gyo Fish Attack or the other one?
That's obviously not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one of his collected works that didn't have nearly as much. Okay. Yeah, that one. Anyway, so there's some pretty horrifying stuff in these. Aimed at the fingerprint cutting off. Yeah. So.
Yes.
Okay, so Kaiser Trigger wants to know, have we seen Jinro? 3-part series, if I recall, but the movie is the anime version, and God, I want to cosplay it as those special ops guys. So not only have we seen Jinro, and you're talking about the 3-part series, which is the live action one. I have not watched that yet, although I had intended to back then, but work couldn't. But we did a watch club on that. Watch the podcast titled Wolfpack Ass Attack. That's where we covered that. So Seb was on it. Thank you,
Seb.
If I could ever ride a motorcycle, I'd want one like Kanada's, either red or black. So if you got Kanada's as a black one, you would just look like Clouds from Advent Children, though. Which might not be a problem. Autocorrect change it to junkie. Anyway, continuing here. Kino's Journey spin-off audio to feature cameo from first Kino, Ayo Hisakawa. So Gakuen Kino, or like High School Kino, premieres in the upcoming Kino's Journey The Beautiful World BD box set. Based on Keiichi Sigsawa's parody of his own series, Gakuen Kino follows an alternate Kino, this one a high school student, with a talking cell phone strap named Hermes.
I remember that.
Through battles with classmates turned monsters and interactions with old friends under unconvincing aliases. So it says audio. So I'm guessing it's an audio drama. Unfortunately, right? Because they're not going to dub that because Funimation sucks. Continuing. Okay, so Vladlove, Mamoru Oshii's directorial 2020 feature here for this show. I think it's funny that they show this like censorship thing as she's pulling her dress down, even though you can clearly see that she's got a bra on. And anyway, so I'll just say that this doesn't look like anything I've seen Oshii make yet.
Hmm?
There's some omake stuff in here that you guys can see animated, but it's going to be like 2 frames a second, so I guess it doesn't matter. It looks watchable.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. That's pretty much it. All right. Okay.
Lishonsky, I told you we were more important than some passing
Mm-hmm.
PS5 event. Look what you get.
Yeah. Bandai Namco Arts and 8-Bit begin a business partnership to create anime works. TV anime, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, second season's first part is set for January 2021. Not sure why that's the most important thing out of this article. Okay. Okay. So many anime have guys that are so easily turned into traps. Just put a wig on it. Okay. I suppose. I mean, all you have to do, didn't they take Deku from No More Joseph Joestars cosplaying buff women? Yeah, didn't they just take Deku from My Hero Academia and just add eyelashes? And all of a sudden he was female, right? Okay, anyway. Bandai Namco Arts announced today on June 8th that it has started a business partnership with Tokyo-based animation studio 8-Bit for the creation of visual works with a focus on animation and its related content. 8-Bit was established in September 2008 and has produced very successful anime series such as Infinite Stratos, debatable, Encouragement of Climb, debatable, and That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, yeah, probably. The press release explains the reason for their partnership as below. Bandai Namco Arts and 8-Bit have been working together on a number of projects, including That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. During that process, both companies agreed that strengthening the relationship in an even more in-depth manner could lead to the creation of new entertainment, which led to this business partnership. I love how these statements basically say nothing. The two companies will establish multiple executive production lines and work to form a business partnership by promoting projects to create new works by young producers from both sides. Okay. Exchanging personnel and creating and utilizing anime-related content. As the first works after forming their business partnership, the production of the second season of the TV anime That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime and its spin-off series The Slime Diaries That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime has already begun. The first part of the TV anime second season is set to premiere in January 2021, and the second part will follow in July 2021. The TV anime The Slime Diaries That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is planned to be aired from April 2021.
Cool, we got dates, but they're coming together to work on stuff. What were you doing before then?
I don't know.
Work on stuff? Why do they use anime works instead of anime?
Anime works means like to make anime. Like that's just a stupid way of phrasing it. Okay. I don't know why Bandai Namco is so important into this. If 8-Bit was the one doing it from the beginning.
Maybe
I don't know why the article turned into and because 8-Bit's known for this, let's just turn this into an article about this.
Yeah.
So Tencent wants to target Japanese anime and manga to bolster its portfolio, says reports. So I'm not going to read this. Hirohei did a video on it. I don't care so much about this. Tencent is trying to expand their,
Horizon.
They're trying to expand their like IP opportunities, but it seems to be largely game based right now. And Tencent being basically owned by the Chinese Communist government, obviously is something that people should oppose. So I'm not gonna support them, but I mean this is step one of probably a 3-step plan that starts to get real bad. So I guess keep an eye on it. I'm not going to read about it right now. Imo Novels Ayase If Route gets manga adaptation illustrated by Keiji Watari. So it's getting a manga. It's the route that is if the character went with this girl, right?
And not the sister.
Yeah.
A
sister is all you need, am I right?
May.
Also, Kuroneko and Kanako to join Imo Novels If series. So now the novel is going to do an if of this clearly underage character. I don't know. Anyway, so they're going to do an if of these other two characters, and then maybe they'll get a manga adaptation later as well. We'll see. Elfen Lied creator discusses how he tried making a, quote, Love Hina manga instead. Because they're roughly the same manga series, right? So Elfen Lied manga creator Lin Okamoto went to Twitter on June 7th to discuss the origins of the infamous and controversial series. Okamoto, as a newcomer to the manga industry, set out to create a series in the same style as the popular harem manga Love Hina, but soon discovered the power of the storytelling itself. Does he mean the power of the storytelling itself, or the story is telling itself? Where, with a little help from an editor who knew what they were doing, as in like when you start writing it, then the story starts telling its own. Like the drawings start telling you what the story can be.
Issue in this case.
You know what I'm trying to say. Okay, here are Okamoto's tweets and a translation of them. Before my first work was published, when I was still a rookie, I wanted to draw manga like Love Hina, so I drew a draft for a series, which was then serialized as Elfen Lied. So, this is what they submitted. After that, I was instructed by my editor to move away from the Love Hina aspect. But when I think back to the first chapter, it stayed almost the same from the beginning. So I guess I made a mistake in thinking that I could get to Love Hina from here, referring to the image of the above tweet, right? While it's easy to see, I mean, I'll be real, the story is kind of a harem towards the end. While it's easy to see some of the similarities between certain aspects of Elfen Lied and Love Hina, it's safe to say when looking at both series side by side, Elfen Lied is such a huge departure from the fun romantic comedy series. Comparing the two is almost laughable, though it is fun to see where inspiration comes from, especially when the works are wholly different from each other. All right, continuing here.
I thought an episode 2 was trying to parody Love Hina, not he was trying to create his own version.
Say what?
Oh, there's like 2 episodes that were not violent, if I recall right, that were not violent. It's probably just one.
There's an OVA episode. I think it's like episode 14 that's only on the Steelbook release over here, I think. That is just like a slice of life thing. So I don't know that it's necessarily a harem, except for the other characters like thinks of the main guy as like Big Brother Chan or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so here, I guess I got to address some of these. So also, did you hear about Tencent obtaining anime and games? That's the thing we just skipped over. Anime will now be all about communist propaganda for the motherland of Beijing, China. All hail Winnie the Great. So they were making, I think it was Billy was making that anime about the life of Karl Marx, right? Was it Karl Marx?
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't Karl Marx.
It was a guy who, his last name had Marx in it. I remember that much. It was blonde and almost looks like Anastasia.
Yeah, it was Karl Marx and it wasn't Lenin. It must have been Karl Marx. Anyway, so there's a PSP game with the routes for all characters. Yeah, harem anime Yuragi So is one, and it just ended and had one hell of a trollish ending. Loved all the salt. I haven't watched it. I always thought it was Lied, not Lead. Elfen lied to me, bro. Dude, okay, so it's Elfen Lied because it's German for song. It's an Elven song is what the name of. That's why they have the music box and stuff. Yeah, everybody called it Lied. I was actually going to say that before you even commented. I'm like, it is Lead, not Lied. Anyway, I think the name is German, right? The manga that Yuragi So no Yuna-san is getting replaced by that's causing all the tears from butthurt harem fans. Okay. The King's Avatar was a Chinese anime. It was probably using subtle brainwashing for communism. So there have been a couple of Chinese anime inspired works, like where China like did one, or they what do you call it? Commissioned a Japanese animation studio to make that have been laughably funny in their propaganda. I forget if it's Red Hawk or that other one where they have like literally the ending happens and the fucking tornado of like, oh, great leader shows up and like the character literally can't fight it because it's an oh, great leader and he sacrifices himself. It's like the funniest shit I've ever seen. I have to watch that again. That was hilarious. Just comes out of nowhere. It's either Crimson Wolf or
Are we skipping articles?
no.
Okay.
Did I skip one? I might have.
One about Two Loveroo.
Yes, no, hold on. What's going on here? I think I did. You're right.
Did your mouse get a virus this podcast?
No. Two Love Brew creator Kentaro Yabuki returns with new series Ayakashi Triangle. That's literally the entirety of the news. And since FDM's not here, he can't even fangirl over it. So, AI penned Tezuka-inspired manga. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be Fido, but everybody calls it Fado. It depends on how you read the A and the E that are connected. Now available in English. So the hiragana says Paidon, but that's clearly not what it's supposed to be. So remember we talked about this previously, the idea that they were using machine learning to try to create a manga as if it was written by Osamu Tezuka today. Mm. And it's readable. You can read the translation now. Watch me violate Japanese copyright law going into effect January 2021 to show you this.
Oh, man.
Come on. Load.
This might just be super recent, but the creator of Fist and the North Star died.
Oh, that sucks. Not that he's worked on anything great in the last couple of years, but that does suck. We'll cover that next podcast. Whenever that ends up being. Okay. Come on. Okay. Click here to read. You can read it in English right now if you care to, right? But, damn it. Don't want to show too much of that. So I'll say this. We talked about this a while ago, and we, even back then, kind of presumed that this was a gimmick. What I can tell from the documentary here is that their machine learning AI manga creation was literally that deep learning, like where you submit like thousands of faces into it, and then it creates an amalgamation of all of them into a new non-originally sourced face, right? That's what they did. And then they took basically, this is a gross simplification of what they did, but it's essentially what they did. They took all of Tezuka's work and they took like the back of the manga where it tells you what it's about, and then they made a word cloud of all the things that were said multiple times. Young boy, strong, right? And they took those and they algorithmically made a plot based on that, right? And then after they had their plot and they had a character through machine iteration where they just hit refresh, and it constantly is spitting out stuff that doesn't look like anything, then they got a face that actually looked like a face. So an artist redrew it. And the rest of this is just an artist team at Tezuka Productions drawing the manga with the synopsis generated through basically the word cloud, right? So it's not even really, like, it's hardly AI like they pretended it was. But yeah, that's basically it. I haven't had a chance to read it. I was hoping that you guys would read it since I sent it to you a couple days ago, so that you could tell me if it feels like an authentic Tezuka or not. But apparently nobody. But
I've
maybe
never read a Tezuka manga, so I don't have.
Well, Augie, you let us down.
I don't let anyone down. I had a super busy week at work.
So I think I could pull up a lot of tweets on anime you finished that would prove that was a lie.
That's because I'm watching and doing stuff at the same time. Thank you very much.
Can't read manga and do stuff at the same time?
No, that runs everything.
So anyway, yeah. So I think that it's I think that this was a gimmick, as I said from the very beginning. But what I do feel a little bit concerned about is that I would not put it past production, because I think they already do this, by the way, at some production houses, that they are going to start taking the top anime of every year and run them into this algorithm to start making guaranteed hits, or what they think are going to be guaranteed hits, right? You know what I mean? Like the safe bet. Well, it's a story about strong young high schoolers fighting 30-year-old adults that are muscle bound. You know, like what I mean? Like it's just going to be a bunch of shonen anime thrown into a blender to make some soulless crap, right? So we'll see. Now, this isn't anime related, but I felt like if I just read this article, which by the way was posted 2 days ago, the fuck? How come this only showed up today then? If I read this article, I feel like it's going to elucidate everything I was just talking about regarding the Fado stuff. So these models don't exist. New agency offers AI generated models for commercial use. Now, remember I said that they take thousands of photos in order to amalgamate what's similar between all of them into the generic face or whatever, right? And they make new faces generated based on those seeds. I feel as though among those thousands of faces, why does the scroll wheel suck? I feel like a couple of men got slipped into those images. So let's read about these AI generated models for commercial use. Company boasts scandal-proof faces for all your market needs. I mean, yeah, before the Photoshop cum shot guys get on it, but the media in Japan have a history of blowing scandals such as casual drug use or extramarital affairs way out of proportion. Right or wrong, this social climate can make hiring a spokesmodel for a company's promotional campaign very tricky business. Human beings are inherently fraught with imperfections, unbecoming for the voice of a cartoon snowman or person holding a bottle of salad oil on TV. But now we have the technology. We can make models purer than before. Pure, emptier, more soulless. Fido. Okay, so the reason I'm saying it's pronounced Fado, is because it's a reference to Plato's Phaedo dialogue. So yeah, it's not actually Pido or Pidon, right? It is, I think it's Phaedo. I think that's actually how it's supposed to be pronounced, but everybody in philosophy calls it Phaedo. I don't know why. But anyway, I got some stuff delivered I could go out and get. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need to grab these from the old mailbox at a point, because I think one of them arrived that it has a really funny title I want to share with you. Kaiser Trigger says, imagine the day when AI can write and draw our ideas out in manga form for us and replicate styles and use fancy angles and shit. So we've talked about this as well with the AI replacing anime staff and whatnot. Now, one thing I'll say about this that would be awesome is that one of the problems with creativity, especially when it comes to animation, is that you come up with an incredible idea, but it takes so long to manifest into reality that halfway through you kind of run out of steam. You know what I mean? In trying to produce something new, like even if it's just an explosion sequence or something, as you're doing it, if it's not going well immediately, you run out of steam quickly because it's hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of work, you know? So in that regard, it would be cool to be able to project your thoughts into into something that could manifest them like lightning fast so that you could iterate your own ideas that way. But that would be based on your own brain function rather than the machine, you know? Anyway. I object to the runtime error, syntax cluster break, blah, 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 right? So they're acknowledging that these don't look human. E9 model So nai is negative in Japanese, right? So it's like janai means is not, right? So there's like a manga called Tenchi Janai, which is translated as I'm no angel or something like that, because Tenchi is angel, Janai isn't, right? Am not this thing. So inai means like non-existent model, I guess, which is both an abbreviation, for image Navi AI model, and literally translates to model which does not exist. I should have just read that. Is a new service that can provide you with the women that marketing dreams are made of. Each model is an AI generated image that isn't an actual person, and therefore unable to blurt out racist comments or get caught poaching rhinos ever. So you say that, but we've literally got the white power symbol, right? Literally below that. The old WP here. That's the E9 model promise. Their surprisingly realistic appearance is partly due to each model being based on an actual person that was hired by Image Navi and photographed. However, these photos were taken through these photos were then processed through a generate adversarial network and altered beyond recognition. I mean, yes, it's clearly altered beyond recognition, because all of these images look like you took a face from another place and stamped it on top of a face, because her face is a completely different skin tone than her neck. This one I'm pretty sure is a man. God, they're so soulless. Photos of these unreal models can be purchased from Image Navi's stock photo site at prices ranging from 20,000 to 33,000 yen. Not even that expensive. We can make our own OCA podcast mascot using those, depending on resolution. In the near future, Image Navi will also be able to process models based on used submitted images as well. Oh, God, dude, all three of our faces amalgamated into a new hideous disfigured mascot. I think we should just get everybody from our audience to just submit our fan base, and we'll have a face that represents the OCA podcast fandom as a singular person, right? Seb says looks like face swap on the 3DS. Yeah. Kaiser Trigger says, also imagine if you could talk to that AI about your ideas and get actual human level interaction. It would be outrageously helpful for making additions to your ideas, not fully human, of course. So what I think about that is that, like, the thing that I think regarding what I was saying before about it taking so long to actually manifest your ideas, where that really comes into play is when people are doing drugs. Like if you're dropping acid or doing mushrooms or something, and you have like this like mind-altering opening that gives you ideas you otherwise would not have fathomed. But then actually producing those ideas in that vibrant vision that you see them is impossible in that such short amount of time, right? Unless you're just constantly on that drug for the entire 30 hours you're animating the sequence or whatever. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Seth says, I'll see what I can do. All right. But no famous faces were permitted, and none of these women may be used to promote ethically controversial products and services such as adult entertainment. I mean, does the OCA podcast count as adult entertainment? E9 model currently only offers women in their 20s, but hopes to expand to more ages and genders in the near future. Well, I mean, I don't think any of our audience, maybe G, are women in their 20s. Opinion online was mixed, with some highly critical of Image Navi's output and others able to see potential in the idea. Who needs celebrities? So can I call them ugly and not have to worry about slander? I think the trick is not to make them too beautiful. These are pretty good, but all their teeth are too perfect. They're so soulless. It's creepy. This one looks like it has two different eyes, like source eyes. This one looks a lot better. This one I think had like that problem with the eyes too, where one of them looks bigger. I like how they're all in suits except for this one. Anyway, they'll work for cheesy banner ads, but at that point, who cares about scandals anyway? Not quite out of the uncanny valley yet. I'm scared of people who don't exist, but they're not taking into account name recognition. Yeah, I guess that's true. Like if the entire reason you went to see fireworks was because it said from the creators of your name, right?
No.
Let's just say hypothetically they use this technology for naked purposes. Would they not have to add a mosaic since it's not an actual person? Huh, interesting. Who knew entertainers' jobs would be threatened by AI first? It's still in its early stages, so it looks pretty good so far. I think a lot of criticism stems from people knowing ahead of time that these women were AI generated. Had they not known, they probably wouldn't have realized these women were fake at all. I mean, I think I would have at least suspected they were heavily photoshopped beyond recognition. That being said, as a solution to the social problem of scandals, it doesn't seem to do anything to address the more important underlying problems. The technology is definitely cool, but we might do better as a society to not fly off half-cocked every time a famous person has a lapse of judgment or gets a boyfriend. After that's all settled, we can find a good place to fit in the AI model. So this article went absolutely nowhere near where I thought it was going to go in terms of discussing the the algorithmic way that these are created. So that didn't help at all, but it was still funny. And I think we've got lots of potential for an army of AI-driven audiences. I think that would be the funniest thing ever, to just submit a bunch of photos of our fans and get them into this algorithm to create like the amalgamation of all our fans. And it just turns out to be some neckbeard. I think that would be so fucking hilarious. Like it literally creates the neckbeard meme with the tipping the fedora. That'd be hilarious. Okay, gaming news. Silent Hill's Cheryl and Pyramid Head will haunt Dead by Daylight. So I still think, I don't know why they're calling her Heather once again, because I'm pretty sure this is I'm sorry, I don't know why they're calling her Cheryl, because I'm pretty sure this is Heather. I don't think Cheryl even showed up in the games, did she? I just remember Harry yelling out Cheryl in the games, but I don't think you ever actually see Cheryl. And then I thought Heather was a different girl, but then in the movies they made them the same girl, and I can't remember now. But anyway, so some of this is real bad. Like these models look awful, right? Like just terrible. But then one of these looks freaking great. Not that one. Not that one. Definitely not that one. Not that one either. This one. Like if I saw that in a regular Silent Hill game, I'd be like, all right, I'm in the right place. That looks awesome. Then the rest of this sucks. And then we got this amazing. Does the great knife cut you in half? Nope. Just ragdolls you.
I don't even think the knife hits. I think he just runs into the elbow.
It looks like there's like I don't know, 4 frames missing from this cut, where all of a sudden he's getting hit with just like the butt end of the sword. Anyway. So
after Silent Hill, are we going to be talking about Resident Evil or Final Fantasy VII or Animal Crossing?
No, we're talking about My Hero Academia Wants Justice.
All right.
Which adds English dub in update.
That's pretty cool.
And now we're talking about Square Enix / Final Fantasy / all those things. Square Enix hires Devil May Cry 5 designer Ryota Suzuki to work on new action project.
Hopefully it's another Beautiful Joe.
So these are the things that Suzuki's worked on in the past. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure 1999 game, Vampire Chronicle for matching service as a planner, Project Justice. All these are pretty much planner, except for Field Battle Planner down here and effects designer and stuff. So Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Capcom vs. SNK Pro, Capcom vs. SNK, Capcom vs. SNK 2, Mark of the Millennium, Hyper Street Fighter 2, the Anniversary Edition, Vampire Darkstalkers Collection, Onimusha Dawn of Dreams, probably the most different thing of anything on that list so far. Devil May Cry 4, there you go. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, and Devil May Cry 5. So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, does Square Enix even make fighting games?
Dissidia. Then Energize for PlayStation 1, not Energize VHS.
So yeah, I don't know how this is going to work, but I don't know, maybe it'll be cool. Maybe they're just like, our Final Fantasy characters just aren't cool enough. Adding that 14th belt didn't help. He needs a long red leather jacket. German video game retailer lists Resident Evil Village for pre-order. So it's Resident Evil 8 Roman numeral age, right? But it looks like it spells out Village. So this popped up and then was taken down. But this appears to be, I guess, I mean, I haven't heard anything about Resident Evil 8 other than like these ridiculous rumors that have come up. But I guess it's like already basically done to the point where they can put up pre-order stuff on it. So that's interesting. Continuing. So apparently Crunchyroll has some stellar hiring practices. Voiceover casting call nonsense on Twitter said, "What's absolute nonsense is a game that is being backed by a well-known company is paying utter peanuts for a gacha game. This rate might be acceptable for someone's first indie game, not for a game which is bound to make the money back in 2 seconds." And because this is just so fucking... Oh, good, it loaded. Okay, so this is what they're saying. About anime-style mobile game looking for voice actors. Grand Alliance. Hello, everyone. Our team is looking for voice actors to help bring our video game characters to life. Grand Alliance is an upcoming anime-style indie mobile RPG that takes place in an industrial-era fantasy world. The Imperial family has been overthrown in a bloody coup as the country falls into civil war between ambitious noble houses that seek to take the throne. The story focuses on Princess Amelia, the last surviving heir of the Ravensburg dynasty, as she seeks to gather new allies to overthrow the usurpers and bring peace to a nation shattered by conflict. The game has a wide variety of male and female collectible heroes, gachas, right? And we are looking for voice actors to help bring our characters to life. For payment, we are looking to aim for $1 per dialogue line. Each character will have around 10 lines. So you could make $10 on this. Like there had better be like 1,000 characters that's how low you're going to be doing this. And we are also willing to have voice actors that have a wide range of tones to voice act multiple characters in game. So you could do, you could walk away from this with like $30.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, so they've been shamed royally over and over again about that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what the asking rate is for a dialogue line, but I mean, $1 is pretty low. I mean, you could probably record all 10 lines in under an hour, but $10 an hour is still like under like minimum wage or whatever. So it is pretty insulting. I would charge like at least $5, because the thing is with this kind of work is that you don't work every day. That's the problem with my industry and this industry, is that when you don't work every day, you have to charge more than it seems necessary for the amount of work you do, because you don't have guaranteed work and you have to still make a living. And it's a position that needs to be done.
You need to make a wage that's equivalent to 40-hour a week.
Yeah, something like that. Even though you don't always work every week. Digimon Adventure Last Evolution Kizuna DVD Blu-ray to come with a newly recorded drama CD. And what's that drama CD about? Well, it's Bokura wa Doko he Iku, or Where Are We Going? To tell the summer vacation of the Digimon Adventure 2 members.
Okay.
I mean, you could just fucking ad-lib this shit and call it an audio drama, Mm-hmm. Get the voice actors together in the studio and just like, yeah, pretend for a little bit. I think we got enough. Thanks, guys. Here's $1 for your lines.
Seeing all these productions of this new Digimon reboot, you would think instead of an audio drama, they would just have like an added short. You go ahead and just animate it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to go out and get that when we start doing the Bastard discussion, because I want to get these things out of the hot sun in my mailbox. Okay, Yuna the Haunted Hot Springs new anime episode Blu-ray to be bundled with the manga's 24th volume. So it's nice to see that they're actually putting these like little bonus things on Blu-ray now. because like so many of them are DVD only.
No, this is the one that he was the whoever was talking about Yuragi no Yunus, whatever. The manga that's ending. It'd be interesting to see if since Aniplex of America has this license, it'd be interesting if they get all these OVAs for their release.
Okay, so apparently, hold on, I'm noticing here a lot of chats that I didn't address. Okay. Okay, so we talked about this one. They have Asian teeth. Of course, it will look off coming from an Asian. Funny thing is that your name had the best since Spirited Away on all the movie posters here. I mean, it kind of was. Like that's not actually an improper statement based on how much money it made, right? Nice. Random 11 is back. PS5 was Meh. Anyone remember that special waifu box thing, gate box? What the fuck ever happened to that thing? Was that like a... Yeah, I do remember that, actually. Was that not like a money-stealing scheme? But what about the original one? I'm not sure what that's reference to. When I played Silent Hill 2 for the first time, my ceiling lights broke. Well, that's an interesting experience. Was creepy as shit. I was in the motel. Was rumored to be shown at the PS event. And Capcom... Come on. And Capcom discounted the earlier games timed with the event. Okay. I feel like two conversations are happening there, and I wasn't following it because I was too busy with the articles. Crunchyroll and Gacha games reminds me of Memoria Freeze, not good. Random 11, so this is Lishansky talking about, because they both just came from the PS5 thing. I liked the console design. It was nice and sleek. Did they announce that it costs like $600 or $599?
Does it still look like a booster seat?
Only games I cared about was Resident Evil 8 and Horizon 2. So apparently that thing we just covered actually was confirmed true and announced. Only one I'm interested in is Spider-Man. Resident Evil 7 in VR was one of my favorite video game experiences ever. I never played 7 because I haven't had anything past PlayStation 2. Unison ended and made lots of weebs super salty because no harem and the main character stuck with Title Girl. Doesn't main character usually stick with Title Girl though?
No.
Depends.
Isn't
on
that how harems usually go?
Not all the time.
Didn't Clannad end that way?
I don't know. Never watched it.
All right.
Keep saying Clannad. I have not seen that show.
Okay, well maybe I'm not talking to you. There's other people here. Not everything's about you, Augie. Orisuki OVA, Our Game Set, confirms Blu-ray and DVD release on September 2nd. So this is Japanese release news here, but that is one of the most smug anime faces I've seen in a long time. Canonically smug. That guy's you don't say. I would not have guessed. Is this some kind of harem? I am the protagonist. Watering can picture from the bottom for some reason. Okay, manga author draws stylish DVD Blu-ray jacket illustration for Twittering Birds Never Fly. So that's cool. I mean, at least they're not doing each other on the butt on the cover. This is boys love.
Okay.
Makoto Shinkai's Weathering With You anime film DVD Blu-ray sells over 100,000 copies in the first week. They also showed another change, which I should have opened ahead of time because this takes forever to load.
This Twitter sure is slow, AC.
I'm just clicking on it. Come on. Okay. So here's the thing. So this is the one that was shown in theaters, which I hate to say it, I think actually looks better. I think this one's a little distracting. So they added this building. Okay. Now there's a reason why they added this building, and I'm going to talk about it in the article. Last week, this the best I could do for highlighting. Shinkai showed off the clouds he forgot to add in the climax of the story. And on June 1st, he showed off the above image, this one, with 2 different versions of Ikebukuro. One without Grand Cinema Sunshine, the top one, and theatrical version, and one with Grand Cinema Sunshine. That's that building there. Now, here's why. Grand Cinema Sunshine opened on July 19th, 2019, the same day as Weathering with You opened in Japan. As one of the biggest IMAX screens in Japan, the anime film was one of the first big blockbusters for the cinema and the IMAX screen. Obviously, when animating the film, the building wasn't complete and thus wasn't in the skyline for the anime film. Shinkai rectified that for the home release and apologized that, quote, the film was shown in Grand Cine, but Grand Cine wasn't shown in the film. Okay, so that's why they've added it back in. Now, it's kind of inconsequential, but I actually, like I said, I do think that it's a little bit distracting when your eyes on the top image go straight to what's happening. But on the bottom one, this extra like little bit of lights and stuff kind of takes your attention away from what's happening. So personally, I think the top image is better. But
kind of makes it more brighter for the bottom.
Say what?
To me, the bottom one seems a bit more brighter because of the extra shine from the building, or maybe my eyes are being tricked on it.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. This building over here feels brighter. I don't know that this is the same frame. I think, yeah, because look at how much closer. Well, so he also took these photos of his screen, so maybe there's more to it, but these don't look like they're lined up the same. So I think this is actually a different frame. But the smoke and like flame looks to be the same. Like, but then again, at this distance, when you see fire moving, it looks like it's moving in slow motion. The higher up it gets, the slower it moves because it's slowing down. Anyway. Shout Factory bags distribution deal for the anime series Be the Beginning. I don't care to read this article. That's all you need to know. I think, well, actually, I do need to read part of this. So they partnered with Anime Limited, and they're going to be releasing. Shout Factory plans to bring the first season of Be the Beginning to home audiences later this year with plans for a Blu-ray disc as well as an electronic sell-through release on select digital platforms. We're thrilled to be embarking on this new relationship with Anime Limited, said Melissa Bogue, SVP of Family Entertainment at Shout Factory. They're well known for their expert, high-quality releases and forward-looking business strategy, and we're excited to partner with them. We're excited to collaborate with Shout. So this is what Anime Limited said. To bring our ultimate edition of Be the Beginning to U.S. audiences, said Andrew Partridge, founder and CEO of Anime Limited. So I'm wondering if their ultimate edition is like a collector's edition, because most, like, what do we have? There's no collector's editions from Shout. They just do like this stock standard one that comes with a lithograph.
There, hold on. Depends on what you're looking at. Like if you see, there's a G.I. Joe that they released that's like a metal case, and you open it, it's almost as if you're pulling out army supplies, which is part of which some of them have the G.I. Joe discs.
But for anime, like they haven't really done a collector's edition yet, so it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Anyway, Blu-ray Forum, I think Danny shared this. The 11 Arts Blu-ray disc of...
I know, I don't like the teacher either.
I dropped it.
Sound Euphonium, the movie.
Sound Euphonium, the movie, Our Promise, A Brand New Day. So apparently, the 11 Arts Blu-ray disc that I'm holding here from Shout Factory and 11 Arts uses the theatrical version instead of the corrected home video master. This also happened with Liz and the Bluebird and the G-Kids Blu-ray disc of Fireworks. So here's what they show us. I don't know if there's more to it than this, but this is the theater release that's on the disc. And in the corrected Japanese Blu-ray, it has some writing on the board. So, I mean, that's pretty minuscule. But if there's more to it than that, I mean, I don't know. But that's all we've got here. But they also had... I think there was more to it than this, so give me a second. This person said, I still vividly remember how annoying this was back when it happened nonstop in around 2000. Why is it suddenly an issue once again in 2020? Are licensors forcing foreign parties to use inferior masters due to reverse importation fears? Or do these companies simply have no idea how to communicate? Edit, not that it's a particularly huge deal for the Sound Euphony movie if that one shot represents the extent of their differences rather than just being a single example, but still, right? Meaning, like, if this is all it is, who cares? And then Professor Who said, I bet they just use the theatrical masters they get for screenings and call it a day. I think that that's probably true. They get the master for the screenings. That's what they show in theaters, and then they just slap it on a disc. So that's kind of annoying, right? Anyway, and then, apparently JoJo's getting replaced with Ballmaster Z 9009. So there's some more news. So I want to see what this tweet says. Is there more to it than this? No, not really. That's pretty much all there is. Okay, not helpful. Okay, closing that, moving on. Discotech Media licenses Caligula anime details August 25th releases. So we've got Caligula, August 25th, Japanese and English subtitles.
Yes.
So if we did a watch club of Caligula, do we have to also watch the American Caligula?
Yes. That would be a travesty not to. Now, if this Caligula does not have a horse or a valley or a pit of freaks, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Versus Night Lamine and 40 Fire is coming to standard def Blu-ray on August 25th, packing in the NG Night Lamine EX and DX OVAs, the Versus Night Lamine and 40 Fire series, and the Versus Night Lamine and 40 Fresh series. It adds up to 38 episodes in standard definition in Japanese with English subtitles and an English dub on Fresh.
Hopefully this is all of it. Because that would be awesome to have like two for the whole series in two sets.
What would really be awesome is if my scroll wheel stopped failing so hard. So they're also going to put out Dragon of Doom on Blu-ray with the Funimation dub. And Crusher Joe, which we've already talked about and all that stuff. And Combat 5, which we've already talked about.
Yeah, the romance series.
Closing. And before it closes, change to me just in case. Oh, perfect timing. Damn it. Okay, Hideout Adult is on. I don't know why it doesn't stay on. Okay, so there's really nothing here except for Inuyasha Set 2 Blu-ray, which I'm not even going to bother to open, and we'll move on. So we got some more comments that keep getting away from me. Kaiser Trigger says, Orisuki was also fun, but people had too many expectations of it to be some super deconstruction of harems. I mean, did you know that guy was going to be the protagonist, though? Because that took me for a loop. I really didn't expect that. It was definitely a sort of strange, fresh take on a harem, but only to set up the harem, okay? I mean, you could also say that about Hensuki. Random 11, there's another response to him. I haven't touched my PS4 since I moved 3.5 years ago. Lol. I just purchased games to eventually play them. That's me with anime, dude. Switch is my neglected console. I use my PS4 all the time. Ultimate Edition for Anime Limited usually have storyboards and art books. Okay. Often A4 size. Boo. Lishansky, I have like 6 to 10 games on PS4. I only played Spider-Man and then never touched my PS4 after. And Kaiser Trigger says, you ever seen City Hunter? Yes. Excellent. That had a movie starring Jackie Chan and Ryo Saiba. Yes. I own that movie. In fact, I will grab it right now.
I have a hard time. I like Jackie Chan in that one, but I have a hard time calling him Ryo Saiba since he can't lust after girls, but instead keeps eating a lot. Wait, did he just get cucked? Time to raise that cuck count. Cuck count.
Where are you?
Ooh,
They
time
are.
to party. Yeah.
Shit.
Not fair. That counter hasn't gone up.
Yeah, I forgot
this
to
is the
update
movie
it.
he's talking about. Released by 20th Century Fox. So in the Disney vault.
18. There we go. I'm ready for the next one. Sorry.
It went from 16 to 18? Oh, because this was supposed to be 17 and 18 is the next one?
I forgot to change it to 17. And then we got that was fast. What do you got to say for yourself, Augie?
I need to be a little less
Yeah,
aggressive
to
with
say.
the grabbing this mouse, because what has happened the last few times is I hit the buttons on the side that turn the page back to the previous page, and it's knocking me out of the thing. All right. So where was I? Yep. I'm surprised the number is only that low, to be honest. I thought we'd be in the hundreds by now. All right. Just got to avoid hitting those buttons until I click on the other page here. Thank goodness.
Oh, don't be pressing them buttons, AC.
Okay. Anime Studio Ufotable and founder. Anime Studio. Damn it. With this. Get out of here. Get out of here. Anime Studio Ufotable and founder charged with tax evasion pays back 139 million yen. The studio apologized on its website to all those involved. Oh, another article by Daryl Harding. Let's see if there are any typos. Anime studios are big business, and when you're a studio like Ufotable, who have their own cafes, merchandise, and some of the biggest franchises in anime today, mostly in part to the outstanding work of the staff and contractors that work for the studio, the harder the business becomes to run, especially when founder and president Hikaru Kondo allegedly takes 30% of all the profits and hides the money in a personal safe, reported Mainichi Shimbun on June 3rd. June 3rd? Oh, so you're just pulling this up from a release from the day before you wrote this rather than... Okay. I'm like, they probably knew that like ages ago when we talked about it, but anyway. After an extensive investigation from the Tokyo District Public Prosecutor's Office has charged both Ufotable as a company and Hikaru Kondo personally with violating the Corporation Tax Act and the Consumption Tax Act, respectively. Okay. Okay. I read that wrong. After an extensive investigation from the Tokyo District Public Prosecutor's Office has charged down. You wrote that wrong. Oh, so it should be after the extent. No. See, from. Get rid of from. Change that to a comma. After an extensive investigation, comma, the Tokyo District Public Prosecutor's Office has charged both Ufotable as a company and Hikaru Kondo personally with violating the corporate. Yeah. See, you don't know how to proofread at all, Daryl Harding, my new worst enemy. Kondo has been alleged to have moved income from the Tokyo-based cafes run by Ufotable and falsely reported income statements in 2015, 2017, and 2018, concealing about 446 million yen, or US $4.097 million, from the Tokyo Regional Taxation Bureau, who filed a complaint against Kondo and Ufotable in April 2019. This let Kondo allegedly evade paying 110 million yen, or $1.010 million US dollars, in corporate tax, and 29 million, or $266,467 US dollars, in consumption tax. Allegedly, Kondo used the money to fund more projects at Ufotable. Ufotable released a statement on their website on the charges, saying that they have paid back all the taxes owed for the period of times that they are working closely with the Tokyo Regional Taxation Bureau to, quote, comply with all laws and regulations and create a production environment that is sustainable to create better works. Works produced at Ufotable include Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. Is Kimetsu no Yaiba just Demon Slayer again in Japanese?
Possibly.
I don't understand why the title is always Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, right? Fate Stay Night, Fate Zero, as if those needed to be separated, the Garden of Sinners anime film series, and Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel film series. Yeah, like you could have just said Fate series. Anyway, because fucking, what's Fate 06? Who animated that one? I want to say Gonzo, but that's definitely not Gonzo.
No, not Gonzo. I want to say Dean.
Dean, yeah, Studio Dean. Yeah, just because they don't have that one, you have to list them all out individually because they did literally all the other ones. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. He got charged.
Will fate go away?
Japan's anti-online piracy law will punish manga pirates starting January 1st, 2021. So back in March, Japanese politicians proposed an amendment to the anti-online piracy law that would extend its demarcation from audio and video to mangas and magazines. Well, recently, the measures moved forward, and now starting January 1st, 2021, you will be punished if you're caught illegally downloading copyrighted manga in Japan. Sankaku Complex picked up the news over on Nikkei, where they reported that starting October 1st, 2020, piracy sites hosting unlicensed copies of manga or magazines without permission will be subject to judicial penalties and or criminal charges. Such penalties include up to 2 million yen in fines or up to 2 years in jail time. If found guilty of 2 million yen in fines or up to 2 years of jail time if found guilty of illegally downloading copyrighted material. Those who host pirate sites containing copyrighted manga, videos, or audio can face up to 5 years in prison and fines of up to 5 million yen. Depending on the severity of the charges, culprits may find themselves having to face both jail time and massive fines. The only caveat to the updated law is that derivative works such as parodies, satire, and original doujins will be exempt. Even still, many pirate sites that used to host such material will have to close up shop in Japan. Those who visit such sites from outside of Japan won't be affected, but those in Japan most certainly will. This comes after a tumultuous 2019 where various websites, YouTubers, and even hentai outlets were aggressively badgered by Japanese rights holders, resulting in lots of DMCA takedowns that crippled various sites for some time. That being said, while visitors outside of Japan may not be as affected by these laws as those living in the region, anyone operating websites that host pirated material that belongs to Japanese rights holders may end up having to deal with some kind of DMCA bullying that plagued various non-Japanese sites in 2019. Now, Sankaku Complex had a little bit more to say about this that I thought was interesting. So aside from derivative works, meaning the parodies and all that, the Agency for Cultural Affairs stated that special circumstances and minor cases are exempt from regulations as well, citing half of an essay/article is considered illegal, and downloading a single manga frame out of dozens of pages is considered minor. So basically, you give yourself that caveat that lets you go after people you don't like and not go after people you do like because, you gave yourself that out in the law. So once again, wonderful that we have this really ambiguous little, it's okay that they did it. And then weirdly, they just decided to choose this of all things to be your manga page for this article headline. All right. Japanese Prime Minister accidentally asked about government's massive robbery campaign budget.
Uh-oh.
Politician from opposing party criticizes Shinzo Abe for official project, but the true crime is a linguistic one. On Monday, Japan's House of Representatives, the lower house of the country's parliament, was holding a plenary session with Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, head of the Liberal Democratic Party, in attendance. During the day's business, Abe delivered a financial address which touched on the economic efforts of the coronavirus pandemic and recovery plans. When the floor was open for comments, a criticism came from Kensuke Nishimura, a member of the oppositional oppositional Democratic Party for the People, representing Aichi Prefecture's 13th district, who said, quote, "Online, the public has been ridiculing the government's robbery campaign because of the 309.5 billion yen that has been earmarked for its administrative fees." Wait, the what campaign? Despite the strangeness of the question, Abe began to calmly respond, explaining the upcoming robberies. Granted, it's true that the coronavirus crisis has had an extremely negative impact on the Japanese economy. But have things gotten so bad that Abe has decided to drop any pretense of working within the country's legal framework and is planning to rule as not only a straight-up bandit king, but as one who will be plundering so much treasure that he'll need to spend hundreds of billions of yen just to organize his brigand brigade? Thankfully, the answer is no. Really, the only crime taking place was a butchering of correct pronunciation. Take that, pronunciation. What Nishimura had actually been trying to ask about is a massive travel incentive program being organized by the Japanese government. Announced late last month, the campaign will provide grants which private citizens can use to partially cover the costs of hotels, restaurant meals while traveling, and even souvenirs. Because the goal is to encourage people to, quote, go to travel destinations once health conditions become safe to do so, it is being dubbed the Go To campaign. With the Go To part officially rendered in English like this: Go To, and then it's campaign, but it's campaign, right? It's the Japanese katakana, right? So it is go-to campaign, right? However, the sound of the English "to" doesn't exist as an indigenous part of Japanese language. And so it would be "chu," right? But anyway, and so it's particularly it's a particularly difficult word to pronounce for native Japanese speakers. When Nishimura broached the subject, he incorrectly pronounced the "to." He incorrectly pronounced the "to" part of "go-to" campaign like the "to" in Tokyo. That made it sound like he was saying "goto," the Japanese word for robbery, and thus asking about the Goto robbery campaign. And after inadvertently copying Nishimura's pronunciation, Abe quickly caught his slip. It's the go-to campaign, not Goto, he corrected himself. And while his muff was met with some light snickering from the politicians in attendance, it's likely some were thankful for a bit of unexpected comedy, since it's probably harder for Japanese legislators to keep themselves entertained by watching crocodile videos at work these days, which is an article we previously covered. All right. So I'm going to skip this, because the only person who's interested in it is FDNM, and he's not here. But basically, it's an article about the strictness on how Japanese teach English writing. And like, if the images would load, which would be real fucking nice, they have like, do you start your O from the top and come around here, or do you start it from like the corner? And like one of these is considered right. But anyway, I'm going to skip this because FDNM's not here.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a quite hilarious virtue signal that failed incredibly hard. Friends of Journalism poll fails epically, with most people preferring white nationalism to Epic Games. Now, am I or am I not wrong? Is Epic Games not owned by a company called Riot?
I don't know.
Somebody in the chat has to know this, right? Isn't Riot Games the owner of Epic Games Store or whatever? I don't know. It's funnier if that is true. So basically, if you missed it, currently Valve and their video game client Steam, among other targets, are experiencing a shakedown by activist groups. Either these companies capitulate and give in to letting said groups be the arbiters of censorship, or they're guilty of endorsing and promoting white nationalism. So basically, what it is you're either with us or you're with the terrorists, right? When George Bush said that, right? So basically, if you don't condone, for instance, Black Lives Matter or any other group, it means you're against them, right? Or whatever. So because like 30 billion companies have decided to come out and do the hashtag and everything, but other companies haven't, people are going after the companies that haven't to try to shame them, right? So what ended up happening is that Friends of Journalism took this as an initiative, and they made a poll asking people if you would prefer Epic Game Store or Steam. But instead of calling it Steam, they called it white supremacy, right? So they said Epic Games has expressed their support for Black Lives Matter while Valve has remained silent, therefore choosing to side with white supremacy. Which games platform do you support now? Epic Games Store or white supremacy? Right? And they say, wow, Steam users, the poll disruption proves who you are. You also made the PC Master Race alt-right dog whistle. Game culture equals racism. Others, join our safe, troll-free, and Steamless gaming community instead. Join my Discord. So anyway, stop retweeting this now. If you are here to support the Steam platform, you support a far-right platform. End of discussion. Drop what you are doing and read this ADL article, right? So the Anti-Defamation League has apparently written articles about gamers on Steam. So yeah, this was the poll.
Where are the numbers at now, boss?
Is the poll still up?
Okay, click on that image your mouse is on, the top one. Click on it.
The top one, right? I just have to vote.
Yeah.
Can I just do it here? Or do I have to actually...
click on it, and it'll take you to the tweet.
Yeah, I middle mouse clicked it, so it would open a new tab. I just wasn't sure if I had to do that. All right, so we're gonna pad the white supremacy. Here it is. You guys have video proof. So 82,099 votes. 22 hours left, and it's 91.7. That's actually gone up, I think. Was it at 91.4 before? Oh no, it's still 91.7. But wait a minute. Oh no, it's still at 8.3. Yeah, it's deadlocked, guys. I'm just gonna, I don't know if you want to support white supremacy or not. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in the chat. People are stupid. I love it. Anyway, yeah. So I thought that was hilarious. Anyway, moving on. They had another one. Which games which game platform do you? Okay, hold on. We didn't give you permission to alter our content, so delete this post immediately. All right. So basically, what they did is they took his thing and changed it from, because I guess you're right. Tencent must own Epic Games, right? Because they put Chinese supremacy or Valve Steam, right? They just literally took their. That's so fucking good. Oh, I love people. I love how triggered they're getting after this. We didn't give you permission to alter our content. It's like, fuck you. I don't need your permission, bitch. Our legal representative, they had to tag their lawyer. Lawyer Andy PhD will be in touch with you shortly. Oh, God, take that to court. Oh, that would be hilarious. Oh, God, that's good. Oh, I love this. Are there more? Translation: Valve won't kowtow to our shakedown operation. Get them? Yeah, pretty much. Oh, come on, scroll wheel. Thank you. Yeah, I love democracy. Over 10,000 votes later, and it's still the same. It's almost as if calling someone a white supremacist because they don't join the hysteria is a shitty idea. An error occurred. Was the broadcast deleted on Facebook? Okay, well, apparently we're not broadcasting to Facebook anymore. Can I fuse my white supremacy and Chinese supremacy to make something else? My white juju? Okay. They should shut up and eat their bat soup and rat dim sum. Okay. I mean, are you saying that to friends of journalism? Because that would be funny. Oh, I love this. Titus from or is this Titus or Titus in Final Fantasy X? I never actually played it, but I love the meme. That's good.
If you watch the story up to that scene, it makes sense. If you just take it out,
it's so funny. I love when Spoonie played the game and named his character Meg Ryan because that's the haircut he had. All right, so FDM thought we should skip this article coming up, but since he's not here, who cares? About 70 monkeys escaped from a zoo in Chiba Prefecture. Now, I don't know if FDM read this. This is funny as shit, especially when you get to the comments. About 70 monkeys escaped from their enclosure at Takogayama's Shizen Zoo in Futsu City, Chiba Prefecture on Wednesday. According to reports, the primates managed to flee by going through a hole torn open in their cage. One of the zoo caretakers contacted police at around 7:30 a.m. to report the monkeys had escaped. The cage's wire mesh appeared to be cut by metal shears, and the circular hole measured approximately 40 centimeters in height and 30 centimeters in width, Sankei Shimbun reported. Zoo officials said the monkeys are believed to be in the vicinity, but none have been seen. They will continue to leave food in the area and attempt to recapture them. After Typhoon Faisai, that's how it's pronounced, right? Hit the region last September, the metal fences were toppled, which enabled the monkeys to escape. Most of the monkeys that escaped were then eventually recaptured. Futsu City has been outsourcing the management of the city-run zoo to a contractor. So read these comments. This is where it starts. They will hole up in the jungle and plot to overthrow humanity. That's not it. Where is it? Oh, there's too many new ones. Fuck, where'd the ones I had before go? I should have highlighted them. Here. The cage's wire mesh appeared to be cut by metal shears. Well, let's hope they've checked the integrity of the tiger's cage. I love this one. Quote, most of the monkeys that escaped were eventually recaptured. Most. So where are they? And how many? Brilliant job, monkeys, living on the run for that long. Good luck to the latest. Can see it now. Dozens of people running around with huge butterfly nets. Whoever cut that hole in the fence shown on TV left some sharp, jagged wire ends. The motive cannot have been compassion alone. Wow, even monkeys want to run away. This is again about the being clipped by metal shears. It's not so much the fact that a bunch of monkeys escaped, but more that a bunch of monkeys capable of utilizing metal shears escaped that concerns me. That's pretty good. Okay, we got one more article here. So if you have anything to say about China.
That sure was a barrel of bananas.
Fish lodged in China man's rectum after he, quote, sat on it accidentally.
Must be a fish.
The saga of anal insertions gone wrong has continued as a China man had to regrettably get a fish removed from his rectum after, quote, accidentally sitting on it. The exact measurement of the blue tilapia, which was dead upon removal, were not noted, but it is suggested the species tends to be 30 to 40 centimeters in length. Said to have occurred in the Zhaoqing First People's Hospitals in Guangdong, unfortunate name, the 30-year-old China man sought medical help after experiencing excruciating abdominal pain, with doctors happening upon the aquatic creature after examining the x-ray. Just imagine how that goes. Just imagine how that goes. You show up at the hospital and you just like, I don't know what's wrong. My stomach is killing me right now. Well, we better run some tests. They're like taking your blood, doing blood pressure. You know, they're doing all that shit. And like, oh shit, I still don't know what's wrong with you. We have to do an x-ray. Let's find the fucking picture of the x-ray. And then they just see like a wiggly creature in there. Damn it, load. Okay, so I gotta address
I had a lot of experience reenacting that scene with the ninja Narusaki and Goku's power pole to fit something like that up. How much you want to bet he got it from a wet market near some chemicals?
Oh, you're reading comments that I'm supposed to be going over comments right now, and you're jumping ahead. Seb says game journalism has always sucked. Clickbait, top 10 articles, yeah. And now today's shit, yep. He must have had a lot of experience reenacting that scene from Ninja Mirror. I know, but it wasn't on screen, so nobody understood what you were saying. You can't, because you read like a child. He must have had a lot of experience, so he must have had a lot of experience reenacting that scene with Ninja Murasaki and Goku's power pole to fit something like that up. I mean, I don't know. I don't have experience with this. I can't attest to that. How much do you want to bet he got it from a wet market near some chemical? I mean, I don't know anything about wet markets other than that they're called wet markets. So I'm not qualified to answer that question. But here we go. Let's continue here. So as for their excuse, the anonymous patient elucidated that he accidentally sat on the fish, the tight, inviting cavern being made available to it. The fish then supposedly took the opportunity to voluntarily slither its whole body up into his rectum.
Well,
failing to extract.
Realize that would be asked. So, what were you doing with your pants off as you were sitting down?
No, right? Like seriously, like
a fish, a dead fish,
on a live fish. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on this experience, Kaiser Trigger. Failing, I love this. Failing to extract the sea creature of his own accord, the man conceded his efforts and sought medical aid, leading to his stomach being cut open and the fish directly removed due to its sheer size. I mean, I guess they couldn't go in through the anus because you try to pull out the fish and it just tears apart and you're pulling out like ribs and shit. So I guess going through the stomach is the best way. I don't know.
Also, wet markets are called that because they catch a bloody kill the wild animals that they catch, edible or full of diseases, disease? I don't know, but the blood makes it in the wet market. I guess it's explaining what
I don't know if I should ban you from reading comments or I should let you read all of them so you get better at it. Because you do, this is, nobody else sees this but me because I can see the feed, but this is Augie. Like, he looks like the grandma with the glasses for the meme going as he's reading the comments.
I mean, it's like in size 10 font on my computer screen.
You need a bigger monitor.
Yeah, that I do.
Or are you on a PC?
I'm on a laptop.
You're on a PC though, right?
Yep.
Use the on-screen magnifier. You know, the one that old people use. On-screen magnifier. I don't know where it is on Windows 10, but on Windows 7 and prior, it's in accessories, ease of access system tools or something like that.
Okay.
Start accessory ease of access system tools, and you mouse over the thing and it'll show it bigger on the side of the screen. Anyway, so a video. So there's video of it containing footage. Oh, here's the. Imagine getting like an MRI done. We don't know what's wrong with this guy who's like toppled over with pain. Okay.
Get some experience.
So Kaiser Trigger says that you need to pull some tricks on the street if you know what he means. Make the money for a bigger monitor or something. Get some experience. All right. Maybe use a plunger there. But just imagine like you're a doctor. You have no idea what's wrong with your patient because all your medical knowledge says, well, if he's got excruciating pain, he should know what's causing it if it's this bad and we don't see anything. You do your MRI and you've got like a literal like fish bone. Apparently there's his dong. Anyway, you got this big fish all the way up his ass. Great job, guy. Great job. So whether or not the victim managed to fully recuperate both physically and mentally from the incident has not been detailed. I scroll down just to like the nips of some figure too. They weren't showing. Don't give me YouTube. Anyway, that's it for articles. So if you guys would like to discuss Bastard for a second while I run to the mailbox. Reese, you still here?
I am kind of.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm going to run to the mailbox real quick. Oh, I'm getting a call.
Run, Mr. Beard. Run, Mr. Beard. Mr. Beard, get out of here. Okay, so Bastard, were you able to finally watch this, Reese?
I was not, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
I really enjoyed this one. What you missed out on was a land of sword and wizardry. The main character here, Dark, kind of sounds like the main character or the main lead singer from Twisted Sister, Dark Snyder. He used to be a powerful wizard from long ago. Now he is a reincarnate of a child through a child. So kind of the same sort of Yu-Gi-Oh effect. When a certain things happen, the child will transform back to this bastard. I love the setting for this series as it shows the different landscapes and what you would expect from like literally a Dungeons and Dragon experience. They even have an Eye of a Beholder in it. A lot of the characters are just like with JoJo, are based on their names. I think the cities are more like it. Yeah, the city names are based off of different bands that they can't say, so they had to reword it so it can avoid any copyrights. Found a lot of the scenes to be hilarious, like the kid overwashing his. I'm not sure if it's a sister or if it's just a good friend that takes care of him. But he keeps washing her panties for quite some time. It's like a default thing he does to show his appreciation for her. Let's see. Other things. There are a lot of over-the-top scenes. Like if you were to encounter a fire elemental like Ifrit, normally you would want to do like water magic and stuff, but for Dark Snyder, he only has 2 elements, electricity and fire. So if you typically if you fight a fire elemental with fire, it will either like boost the abilities or make the monster recover because it's its element of its own domain. But when he is faced with that monster, instead of being on guard and defensive, he strips off, for some reason, I forgot why, he strips off all of his clothes and starts running into the fire and fighting fire with fire, and he wins. Let's see what else we got here. His friendships are very different. Since he died and has come back reincarnated, a lot of his past friends want to re-meet with him just to kill him again. I guess that's just what you do in these situations with the bulging muscles and will to fight. Oh. Yeah, you can tell how 90s it is with all the shoulder gear you see on them. Let's see.
Allow me to show you why I was insistent on going to get the mail.
What'd you get?
Hold on.
What'd you get?
I got 2 packages.
Is one a mouse?
No. Okay. So one of them is Ugetsu on Blu-ray from Criterion Collection. This might be the oldest movie I own on Blu-ray. This is another Mizoguchi film. That's not the one that I wanted to show you. The one I wanted to show you was a Blu-ray from Arrow of Detective Bureau 2-3, Go to Hell Bastards.
That. To answer the Consci's question, how does Bastard compare with Berserk? They look similar. They do look similar, but Bastard to me, Dark Snyder is more like that. He's to me, he's more like a good-willed Dio Brando with some of his actions.
He's what? Apparently, I've got a FaceTime call going on. Hold on.
FaceTiming your boss.
Okay. So it's more like Lodos War in like the mythical magic aspect rather than Berserk. So it's not much like Berserk, but I do remember, I think when I bought it, I was kind of hoping it was similar to Berserk because I was thinking of Bastard like the sword, like the Bastard sword, you know, and everything.
Rune Soldier Louis, just more.
No,
scratch that.
Not Louis the Rune Soldier, which is an outright comedy. No, it's more like. I mean, it's not really like a lot of other things. I think the closest thing I would say is Lodos War, but with a protagonist who's just a pure asshole. In fact, I feel like I need to pull up some of the tweets. And then also, I still haven't shown the manga panel that I showed you guys.
It has more serious violence. There's some scenes where slimes will dissolve female warrior clothes off.
Literally, the 2 things I remembered from it, from the decade ago that I watched it, was the slime scene that went on for way longer than was necessary, and how readily Dark Schneider is to get naked all the time.
Yep.
In the part where he's fighting Ifrit, he just takes off all his clothes and jumps out of the thing into the inferno. All right, let me see. I've got some tweets for you.
I wouldn't call it laid back. Action adventure, pretty much. That's what you get.
Come on.
Oh yeah, for
I
some
hate
reason
Twitter.
when he goes into onslaught of violence, he manages to make sure he doesn't kill everyone.
Why can't I go to my own damn account? Profile. There it is. I hate the Twitter layout that I've been avoiding with that what do you call it? Plugin or whatever, Chrome extension for so long. Okay, so let me grab. Oh yeah, I forgot I had two of these. Okay, so let me screen share with audio. Reese, you still there? You're
I
so
am
quiet.
still here.
Because one of these I think you had enjoyed one of my insights on Bastard, which I will share in a second. So there was this one first. Hold on. Did I check the button? Can you guys hear that?
Yep.
Yeah, I see the little audio thing. Okay, let me full screen it real quick. And let me full screen it here for our copyright claim. Nobody got this reference but me, which made me sad. And I'm just sharing it because I made it.
My pride will never die.
Drag and drop.
Nobody saw that. Have you guys seen that video?
My pride will never
About the web designer?
No.
Drag and drop web design? Anyway, I linked it there. That's not the one I want to show you guys, though. This is the one that was actually interesting. So I noted this one.
Then he must have been here recently.
Listen really carefully.
No
I
doubt
said,
about it.
I heard this while I was watching it, and I was like, no fucking way. So Seb asked, is Bastard in print? No, it's an old Pioneer release. So it's still available. I think there's plenty of ways to get it online. But no, it's not actively in print. But here, listen to this.
No doubt about it. This is definitely Dark Schneider's doing. Then he must have been here recently. Right. Let's search the area.
That howl. Oh, come on.
Looks like it's from a husky.
Are you kidding me? Like right at the transition? Maybe it's saving me from a copyright strike on the song. Which I don't plan on showing that much of. Come on.
What if there's fishmen in the lake?
This is some bullshit. Anyway, it's the fucking opening to Night Call by Kavinsky. Like, side by side, you can hear it. It's the exact same audio clip. It's probably from a sound library, but how funny would it be if he actually just took it from the OVA? Oh, that's some high quality podcast content right there with that internet.
It's bad when what you're sharing is quality background that you have before it.
I could show this, like we could show straight up like nudity on the podcast and get away with it with this low quality here. All right. So anyway, I guess we won't hear that. If you guys want to hear the tweet, I'll just tweet it at you. Link it here real quick. Even though Facebook apparently is going to not let me send tweets. Okay. Oh, I download Twitter videos all the time. Yeah. Just to have them archived because people delete tweets all the time. Kaiser Sugar says one thing.
Gotcha.
Kaiser Sugar says one. Damn it! You guys, the comments are going in and then I can't see. One thing I wish I could have is shelves full of stuff like you guys do. I am a broke piece of shit. You know what I've always wanted in a room? A skee ball arcade machine. Well, those are some goals right there.
Go to college.
All right, there we go.
Bastard in print.
Yeah, so I will say this about Bastard. There are a lot of bootlegs of it. So I might have one like within reach right here, but I don't know. So
Bastard.
Say what?
Would you recommend Bastard?
I think it's worth a watch once. I don't think it's a great series. But it's funny. Like, it's funny how much of an asshole he is. And the manga is just absurd. Let me pull up that image of the one I sent you guys. Boy, this is the fastest internet I've ever had in my life. Kaiser Trigger says, who is making that noise with their mic? Not me. Not I. What are you talking about? What noise?
That rumbling.
That sounds like an Augie. I don't know.
Yep.
I used to play skee ball as a kid at Dave and Buster's and was a fucking skee ball breathing, eating, and shitting bastard. Podcast appropriate language. I'm getting so many text messages right now. What's going on? Oh no, Professor Who is just tweeting about the PS5 stuff. Okay, so yeah, I like Bastard. I liked how ridiculous it was. In the second to last episode, he literally ripped out his own heart. So it was good. I did have to read half the articles while I was watching it though, because there's literally just not enough time in my week with how much I'm working. And also just one more iteration on this. Like, I know that I've been telling you guys, like, the Broly video is so close to being done, and you're like, yeah, I'll have kids in college by the time you release it. But you got to understand that I've done overtime for like the last 2 months, and that means that when I do get to work on it, it's like maybe 2 hours a week, you know, and I'm maybe 20 hours away from being done with it in terms of finishing the last bit of editing and then doing some post-production stuff in After Effects that just requires a little bit of force thrown at it, you know, some labor rather than some actual editing decisions. So it is getting there, but it's also one of those things where it's like when you've sunk so much time into something, slapping together the end, it just kind of feels wrong. You know what I mean? So if you feel like something could be done, yeah, this internet's not going to let me load it. There's a part in the comic, in the manga, where he says, I'm going to build a harem of all the women in the world because for women, there's no greater joy than to get fucked by Dark Schneider. So that was the premise of us choosing this because of how ridiculous it is, which I always thought that was a fake line that could be attributed to him. But I looked up the actual manga, and apparently that's like from the full page of it, from the Viz one. Anyway, so I think it's a good watch. Next watch club is going to be.
I recommend it. I enjoyed it. The manga has.
It would be nice if it got a full adaptation.
Subtitle name of Angel in the Centerfold, because if I understood right, in between each chapter, there's like like I said, a centerfold piece of the dame, heroine, whoever that they want to spotlight. I'm a little disappointed that what little I read of the manga,
I think I left it.
there was a scene where he was trying to run away with a girl hitched over his shoulders. She was panicking, so he bites her ass and keeps going, yells at her and keeps going to try to calm her down in the situation. So up next is Boy and the Beast. So after what we said, Reese, about Bastard, do you think you'll ever get a chance to watch it or are interested in?
No. I just got so much stuff on. My plate keeps getting longer and longer just for stuff that I keep. Like, I've been putting stuff. I haven't had like any motivation to watch anything like the last 2 months.
Uh oh.
So, and like the last thing I watched was literally the other night, and those screenshots I sent you guys in the messenger.
I don't know where I put Boy and the Beast, which I did get. Did I show it on the last podcast?
No.
No, you ordered it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It arrived without a slipcover, and I have no idea where I put it now. I mean, I'm sure it's in. Oh, yeah, it's probably over here. I have no idea. I really have no idea. Anyway, so I'll find that and I'll watch it, I guess, because I was supposed to watch it tonight with the family to get it out of the way. After I go to the store and take out the trash and do all that shit I got to do as a parent.
Are we going to have a podcast next week, or do you need to deflate and take it?
I don't know. So here's the problem. I would like to have a week off just because, well, it really depends on whether or not overtime ends. Because if overtime doesn't end, then I'd want to do the podcast just to get it out there and have my week off be that first week with a full 4 days off so that I can actually complete the Broly video and everything. But if my overtime gets canceled or whatever, I don't know. So let me put it this way. So we have 2 weeks before your birthday watch club.
Right.
So what I was thinking is that I'm gonna watch Boy and the Beast tonight, and then I'm gonna start on. Well, I'm sure I can watch it other ways if I can't find it. But if I and by the way, I am curious because it looks like there's supposed to be a slipcover on the images I've seen, but I can't find any unboxing videos of that particular release because it's like weird to just the DVD only one. Nobody bought. Yeah, but see, the thing is that I have the DVD only of Wolf Children, which has a slipcover, right?
Right.
So I was getting, and I think Summer Wars also has a slipcover, but Funimation, did they release that one too? Yeah, I guess they did because they had it for the whole Soda collection.
Funimation's DVD only, their DVD only and Blu-ray only slipcovers for Summer Wars were fucking beautiful. That was the nicest slipcover on a case that I've ever had. It's got to be over
here. It has to be like right here.
Cover, I don't see why you would want it for Summer Wars.
I mean, it had the embossing, it had holographic, it had engraving on it, everything.
Yeah, for whatever reason. Yeah, this one.
Like I remember ordering that and them putting out the statement that just because it takes
show it without
longer,
the cover.
I'm trying to.
It takes longer to make the slip cover than it did to make the entire everything else.
You can't really see it on the screen, but if you feel it, there's definitely embossing and
engraving.
There's a little bit of foil. There's a little bit of foil on that part.
Like just because it takes longer for them to make the slipcover than it did everything else, they had to send people ship covers retroactively after they sent out the DVDs. And Blu-rays.
I mean, I'm not sure why they needed to. It honestly doesn't seem like that big of a deal because all they would have had to do is just vectorize a alpha over the thing. I imagine that's how you do it for the embossing. I mean, some of the characters are like very intricately embossed though. Like this guy right here. Like that little circular thing on his chest pops out in a different way than the square parts of him pop out. So it is kind of I don't know why they spent so much time on this. They never use this technology for anything else they've released.
And it still has a typo on the back in the synopsis.
Yep. And a quote from Anime News Network. But I'm seeing a shirt I can make. Maybe. I don't know if I have yellow tank tops actually, but I could probably make some of these. Anyway, something I've noticed in Japan that is never in the US are these jackets without sleeves. Wrong way, right? Anyway, I could also make her pants, but I don't know if it's worth it. I've got a lot of backlog. I have a lot of backlog for Stealth Weeb stuff. Hentai Prince and the Stony Cat, I haven't touched any of those. I got a lot to do. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, I want to get done with the Broly video, get that off my plate, and just cram through some shit that I got to do so that we can just get it over with, get some products out there. Stealth Weeb has been surprisingly well. Like that swimming shirt from Golden Boy is like, I don't know, I guess because it's summer, it's like selling like better than I would have ever expected for a shirt that literally just says swimming on it to sell. But a lot of people, I mean, and again, it's not, I don't make money, like I don't make mad money doing this, but it's just anything more than zero is more than I kind of expected, So I'm happy about that, but I'm surprised, I'm really surprised that of all things, that shirt is doing so well and I guess I think it's largely because of the "how do you like my swimming" meme, right? But anyway, But yeah, I got a couple more designs I can do from Golden Boy, but they're so like obscure and like don't really mean anything that I think I've already got the money makers out there. But I have noticed that the manga actually has different designs for the shirts that he had in the show. So I could do that, but the thing is that I don't have a color reference for the ones that are in the manga unless they're on the cover of the manga, you know? And unless it's on the cover of the manga, I don't actually have an image I can use for the thumbnail, you know, and it just gets a little complicated. So anyway, I'd like to do manga specific things for a lot of things, especially if it's just an obviously black and white shirt or something like that. But I don't know how I'm going to make that work because I have to buy the digital version of the manga to get the high quality version of the image because it's not always easy to get that. But anyway, also no Blu-ray for Golden Boy kind of sucks. But what are you gonna do? Anyway, all right. So I think that's it for now. I have to meet somebody who's giving me movies to rip for a church thing, and my wife is freaking out because she's like in her pajamas and thinks that he's coming right now. So I gotta set her heart at ease. Anyway, so look, let's just say Thursday next week. If we can do a podcast, we'll do it. But I am going to want to take some time off. And I think what we'll do is day off, then Boy and the Beast, then possibly day off. And because if the overtime's continuing, I definitely have to do that. I definitely am going to have to. I don't know. I'm on the fence on whether there's probably going to be a skip. But the thing is that here's why it's rough, because if we skip a podcast while overtime continues and it continues into the following week, then I got twice as many articles to compile on a week when I still have no more extra time. You know, that's why it gets difficult. So this podcast actually had like no good articles at all. And then today happened. And all of a sudden there were like 30 great articles that I was like, yeah, I can't do all of these, but some of these are really funny. So I copied and used those. So anyway, I don't know what we're going to do for the next podcast in terms of what day it's going to be. Just stay tuned. We might take a week off just because at some point I'm going to need it because my feet are just like absolutely killing me. In fact, I'm probably going to go out and buy like a foot brace to wear on the days when I'm not wearing shoes and walking around all day just to see if I can heal some of the inflamed tendons on the bottom of my feet. But
if you go to like near the sporting goods or near the weights, they have some braces that you're talking about
that have like the copper.
Yeah,
they have those at Walgreens. That's where I'm going to go. I saw them the other day when I was picking up my kids' $150 prescription. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna see you guys later. I want to thank you for stopping in and giving us your valuable watch time and the super chats. So anyway, that's it for now. I hope I can find Boy and the Beast. And we'll see you guys during the next podcast. Take it easy.
Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Join our social medias and Discord. We have Facebook too.
Okay. Now I end broadcast. There we go. All right. See you guys.